Alright everyone, thank you all so much for joining us this wonderful Thursday evening for some more Dungeons & Dragons on Lionhead Gaming. And I want to thank Sicknarv for the 7 bits and the Bean424 for resubscribing. I greatly appreciate it. Tonight's game, as you can see, will be Song of Rapture, our normal weekly Thursday game, as DM'd by Monsieur Omen. Monsieur Omen, what do you have for us tonight?
Join the Valiant 7 after some time of rest and relaxation after a somewhat troubling, both in physical toil and in, for a lot of people, emotional stress. Having dealt with the Zephyr Centaurs and found themselves in the proper city of Broken Ridge to the far north. There they await payment, that which they believe they are owed for having disposed of the threat that stopped this great road from being built from this wonderful city to a military fort to the west. And during that time, the party found themselves up to some escapades, about 6 to 7 days or so, just tending to their own needs, in a very wealthy city with a huge amount of gold in each of their pockets. So going down the line, Clyde Arthur Thimble, what did you do during your 6 days of vacation?
Well, that's not my name. It's Clyde Arthur. What did I do? Well, me and Persephone, we hung out for a bit. We went shopping. We bought, I took with her and she got some things, and then I got some things, and then we had a great chat, and we made lovely little flower crowns. It's great, and I encouraged her quite a bit around her family and around being awesome like she is, and it was great and grand. And at some point I went with Gregory to some of the other temples, and I bought some new arrows. And I bought this thing that it just catches people. It hugs them really tight. Definitely gonna use it on Luna. And I found this big thing that I don't know how to work it, but apparently I can see everything with it. I just got to figure out what the word is to make it work. And what else did I do? I ate a really, really delicious sandwich at the shop down the way. It's not by the other shop, but it's down the other way on the left, and it was great. And that's really kind of all that I did, I think. Oh, yep, that's all that I did.
Alright then, Luna.
After discovering where my family is, where I've been trying to find them for quite a while, and discovering that they are back in the town that I ran away from after committing a technically terrible crime, the party kind of suggested that she gets a bit of a makeover, but at first she was wary of doing so, but then decided it would be a good idea, so she bleached, quote-unquote, bleached her hair and cut it, as well as changing her general style. And then after she went over to Magnus's shop to see what he had, so she traded her jewel protection for a cloak that would allow her to cast Dimension Door, much like she used to be able to do so. And then she also went and bought a bunch of gifts for Gregory's children, like she always does. She bought a shield for Joey, a spellbook for Sam, and a flute for Nina. And then that's it.
Okay, Samantha.
I spent a good amount of my time reading that giant tome that we got that teaches, well, the reader giant. Gaining knowledge of that language over the course of downtime, unless there were some complications I didn't know about. And so now I have to worry about teaching Persephone that. She also took me out to dinner, strangely enough, but the food was fine. Nothing really occurred from my perspective anyway, but it was pleasant enough. Other than that, I also spent some time with Magnus. I didn't really have some things that he wanted at first, but a bit of extra thought and being more than willing to part away with some of the more troublesome items I had, I gave up my hematite ring and got myself a very peculiar set of armor that is very befitting, but causes a bit of a complication with something else that I wanted. I'll have to figure that out later. As I traded more and more of my items to Magnus and got more and more things that I liked, things that would be quite useful for me and my goals, primarily staying alive above anything else. I also got a very, very interesting and useful new item. My little pet of sorts. This chomps, as it were. Well, I'll have to see if that ever comes to be of use, but it is good to have, nonetheless. Other than that, I did a bit of shopping of my own, getting a wonderful collection of Elminster's finest works so that I could read them in my spare time and hopefully gain a deeper understanding of magic, along with getting a beginner's course for young Sam, who seems to have an interest in such things, and getting a nice princess-styled music box for Nina. Nothing occurred to me to get for Joey for the time being, but I did not forget him. I'll think of something at some point. Other than that, I don't believe there was much else.
Okay. Javen.
Yeah. On the first day, Javen, last time he was in Broken Ridge, he did a little carousing, a little partying, and, happened himself upon a small little shop who had an interesting, to say the least, selection of drinks. Came back around and bought a bottle of each: Fire Seed, Dragon's Bite, Old Eye, Root Wheel, and Night Ale. Most peculiarly, he was quite interested in Dragon's Bite. It seemed to have an electric zing in its step and in its drink. He hired. First off, before he did that, went to go buy a bit of Fire Seed from the, what's the place called? It was like Gardens or something? Yeah, the greenhouse. Able to buy pretty hefty amount. I believe 6 pounds for only a small fee of 450. Small price to pay for such a valuable ingredient. Able to sort of pay off an alchemist with the agreement that he would trade a little bit of fire root for him to fire seed to experiment and research with in order to reverse engineer, so to speak, in the pursuit of knowledge, figure out how Dragon's Bite works. Javen discovered a very interesting prop. See, not only does it give a little zing in your step, it gives it quite literally, allowing Javen to double his movement speed. Should he drink a fourth of the bottle, of course. After that, he enjoyed a lot of the time carousing, rattling up parties, amassing big crowds until the dawn. Persephone joined along, of course, but I think she only stuck around for a night. I think the party life of Javen was a bit too hard. Besides that, I believe Javen and Gregory talked a little bit about what makes Javen tick. How an alcoholic like him is able to keep on his toe, not lose himself and become an old, angry, stinky drunkard. But besides that, I think that's all Javen did.
Yep, as Javen spent some time with these new drinks, just testing them out, trying to get their properties understood, you've basically been blessed with a number of these strange tonics that each possesses strange properties. As of course you found Dragon's Bite, this bottle of blue, sparkling electric fluid that literally energizes and invigorates your body to move faster than normal. You acquired and tasted a bit of the fiery nature of the Fire Seed liquor, one that brings actual flames to your breath if consumed enough, if you can handle the stuff. You acquired sort of a nice calming and sense-sharpening ale, combination of dark ale and black tea known as night ale, allowing you to greater see in dark places. As well as a strange concoction that looks like it's just made of like green mucus and it has like parts of animals floating inside. Some of them even look like to be eyeballs. It tastes strange and sour, but it does sort of help open the mind in ways that you're not really sure how yet. Something to study in due time. And of course, last of all, least threatening in its nature, more calming and invigorating, you have the bottle of root wheel. Mostly cream touched by liquor that when you drink enough of it, everything just sort of dulls and goes black and you wake up feeling nice and rested afterwards. And Gregory.
Yeah, Gregory had a little bit of a fish out of water in this place. He's been to Broken Ridge a few times in the past, but it's been years since the last time, and mostly it's just coming here, helping a caravan, or dropping something off, or picking something up. Don't really stay long, so having a week in a sort of a rich part of town, it would seem. He's got the money to him, but he's still not quite exactly sure what to do with himself. Although he does know that he's got some time to lollygag around, he might as well pay back some, well, the gifts that he's received over the years. So he went out to try to find himself some gifts for not only his kids, but also people important to him in his life back in Oakwell. For Jody, for Smith that helped him, Dorman, and the captain, of course. Just little things that don't particularly add up to be much, but something at least pay back their kindness. He also, like the rest, found some gifts for the kids, finding just some toys and candy for Nina that I'm sure she'll enjoy. Some books that he went looking for Sam, although in the search for him he realized he's sort of lacking his own knowledge in a few things. He's been out in the wilderness for a while now trying to cook for the group, but his repertoire, as it were, is a little bit limited, so he decided to pick up some books, basically some things about strange ingredients out there that you may not expect to be able to be used, things just the ordinary, how to cook on the run, and of course, just some tips and tricks about some baking. Always a little bit of a passion project in his heart. And picked up some things for Sam as well, of course. And last, for Joey, picked up something that every young man's going to need eventually. A shaving kit, as he's getting that age, and last time he saw him, the whiskers are starting to grow in. So, with that, and a little maintenance kit for the weapons that apparently his allies keep seeming to think it's appropriate to give to a young man, but whatever. With that, he went around town with Clyde, having a decent time, just going to the churches, just doing some exploring, showing some respect, seeing what the church-going life is like in Broken Ridge, and then, yeah, having a decent talk with Javen. He's confused. He's known drunkards all his life. He's worked in a tavern for a good chunk of it, and he grew around drunkenness all the damn time. He's not exactly a fan. He's always seen how people drink and just sort of lose themselves and stop making wise decisions. But Javen doesn't seem to do that. He drinks, he sways, but in combat he still fights and seems to keep his head about him. And Greg knows what it means to lose yourself in combat, and he would really rather not. Although he also knows the value of being able to stick yourself in. He's hoping to try to control that a little bit more. But that would only really take a couple days. So besides that, he's basically been going back to the churches and temples around town by himself, just to volunteer and things, with nothing better to do. He might as well make himself useful, idle hands and all that. And then at night, Greg's not exactly a speed reader, so he's been browsing through the books that he bought, but it'll probably take him a bit to really absorb it all. Yeah, he's heard stories about the group going to this weird tavern, or weird shop that's selling strange oddities. He's seen the things that they've been bringing back, but heard that you basically have to trade things, and only things of really strange qualities Grace got is, well, he's got a gift from Samantha he's not exactly going to give away. He's got that pouch that he uses every time he cooks. Can't get rid of that. And, well, that's about it. Except that ring that we all got. That would be a strange thing to give away. Knowing that there's not much use in bothering the man if he ain't got nothing to trade, he decided to leave that strangers to the birds. But without all that, basically just going through his normal routine after a couple days. Waking up in the morning, going to the church, coming back, reading.
Good stuff. And Persephone.
Well, this was probably the first time Persephone dedicated to actually having some semblance of a vacation. She felt really good coming off of the centaur situation, and being in Broken Ridge, a big, bustling city, she felt almost right at home. She tagged along with Clyde as they stopped by the greenhouse to visit Amber, one of the people that they saved from Cragmaw Cave months ago. And from there, she bought a lot of things. Actually, she bought a bunch of pots and gardening supplies to start a garden back at the Fallen Horse. All of that got sent back to Oakwell, so she didn't have to carry it. She bought herself a book to learn more about the rare plants of Mobia, a fancy, nicer herbalist kit so that she can forage and craft more effectively and sustainably. She crafted a couple of items, got some herby stuff identified that she wasn't quite sure what it was at first, but thanks to Amber's guidance, knows that she can make more than what she used to, thanks to these seemingly rare mushrooms that she has found. And then she tagged along with Clyde to go to Odds and Ends, Magnus's shop. Though she didn't get anything, she wasn't intending to, and then she wanted to, and then she couldn't, because just like Gregory, she didn't have anything to trade. Instead, she started talking with Magnus, trying to understand more about Lady Blackburn and the politics of Broken Ridge. And after their long conversation, Persephone ended up walking away, not only seeing that Magnus wasn't quite as scummy as she thought he was, but he's actually kind of a neat guy. She did hang out with a bunch of her friends, though. Dinner with Samantha, where she got to know a little bit more about her friend, asking her how it is that she came to be, what happened to her family, and learned of, well, the Order of Nevermore, and how it seems that a lot of the way Samantha acts is almost explained to Persephone. It was a simple conversation, and yet Persephone walked away like she understood, or rather like she knew Samantha a little more than she used to. She made flower crowns with Clyde, an activity, though very simplistic and childlike, was very close to her heart from home. Making flower crowns with her mother was a way to celebrate change, usually changing of the seasons, but also for a change in character, as both Clyde and Persephone had started growing a lot since adventuring. And Clyde did have to talk her up and assure her that she's a very different person and an amazing person, and her father should be proud. So, of course, that night she went home and tried to write a letter to her father to tell him exactly that. And after several pages of failed writing, she finally figured out what she was going to say. Didn't send the letter. That will be another story. Otherwise, she bought a couple of other items, some presents for her friends back home, partied with Javen, and finally got around to reading that book she found from Stroma. Other than that, that pretty much wraps up what she took care of in that short week.
Okay, it sounds like the Valiant Seven spent their week quite effectively. Although they took some time to do some work, continue their old hobbies, others just spent the week enjoying their newfound wealth. Not necessarily for themselves, it seems, but for one another. As we rejoin the Valiant Seven on Friday, September 1st, early in the morning, you guys are basically together in the Bright Eagle Tavern, this luxurious place that you've come to know as home for the past week, and maybe for some of you, it's going to be a bit heartbreaking once you have to leave this luxurious inn and return back to the dinginess of the Fallen Horse. But there is something to gain from being back home. What are you guys up to in the morning? What do you guys do when you're rendezvousing on this supposedly your final day?
Eating a bar of candy.
Yeah.
Wait, what's wrong with your voice, Persephone?
Please
Dara
stop
would
talking.
probably still be asleep because he knows we're not going to leave until the evening.
Yeah, I would just be slowly but surely working my way through the dragon candy. And I bought,
Wait, is my
10
meat
pounds
cleaver
or some
ready?
shit.
Jesus Christ.
If you were to go return to the smith and ask them about the state of your gift for Barga, they'd basically be done. They're just putting on the polishing touches of it. It looks like a really nice cleaver, although it's huge in size. Like in your hands, it looks like this thing could probably be wielded like some sort of battle axe, but it's fit for someone the size of Barga. It has this nice, it looks like a typical cleaver, like nice curved rectangular shape, although like instilled and etched into the metal are these like almost like strange woven. You'd recognize them as being Northern and Dracovan, but to us it'd be more like Celtic style, like etching along the side in the middle. Yeah, lots of knots, lots of spirals. Looks rather glorious, and because it's made of this like nice, well, it looks like steel. Like it looks like it'd be like steel, but it's not quite as shiny. But it's firm, and as you hold it in your hands, it's actually quite cold. You recall it was made of something they called cold iron.
Oh, it's wonderful. She's gonna love it. I'm gonna take it back to the inn.
Okay. All right. Is everyone? So Samantha's
Rick would just sort of be a little bit anxious. So as soon as it's early morning, he's probably hanging out in just like the common room of the inn, waiting for people to wake up. As every day goes by, just sort of stir crazy is starting to kick in a little bit as he gets in his routine a little bit, and he starts doing his thing, and then the 4th day goes by, and the 5th day goes by, and he's like, all right, so he's sort of raring and eager to go at this point.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Luna would probably just be. What would we call like a lobby? It's not a lobby.
The common area.
That's the common room.
Yeah, just common areas, drinking coffee. Not much else to do in this town. I've already explored it like last week. I'm tired of walking.
It is quite a big place.
Why?
As seems like most of you, some of you are still tending to your own needs, your own desires. Some of you are just sort of anxious and waiting. When the doors open up and in walks a strange-looking fellow, there are some nicely dressed people in Broken Ridge. It's a place of luxury, but it's also a place that invites travelers from all over, especially small towns like Sarabid and other larger towns like Oakwell. A lot of common folk to be seen, and among them there are some nicely dressed, but none so much as this individual. You see this tall man, about 6 feet at least in height, thinly built, wearing this like dark leather that is padded and studded with these silver beads, with a sash tied around his waist in this glorious blue color. What really stands out about his outfit, though, is this mantle. It's this like bright red with golden trim that falls neatly behind his back, and it looks like there is not a wrinkle to be had. But as luxuriously as he's dressed, he has something else that stands out about him. Something that stands out about all of his race. It is why they are considered to be the most memorable, and that none forget the first they meet. Long black fur hanging from his face, and 2 pointed tufted ears, and a long winding black tail behind him. You see this very svelte-looking tabaxi stroll in, looking around with a pair of golden eyes and a curled smile upon his chops. As you see him, you hear him sort of, he's speaking out to the crowd, the people walking one by one, hands sort of folded behind his back beneath his mantle, asking. You can hear every so often muttering under his voice, "Do you know where I find the Valiant 7 staying here?"
I'm sorry, did you say Valiant 7?
Oh, Luna, look!
Clyde,
Oh,
Clyde, I think that's Miles.
What? Hidden Miles!
Oh.
Oh.
He turns to face you, looking over the group. You see, like, his eyes light up for just a moment, and then they sort of fall. Oh. Good. Well then, as he steps forward, you all must be the Valiant Seven.
Aye.
Howdy.
You truly have a small-town look about you. It is charming, really.
I feel insulted.
I do resent that.
Oh,
What?
do not take it as an insult. Believe me, the look is quite a popular one here in Broken Ridge. It's fast spread, as you can see. I am Miles by Midnight. I represent the Blackburn Initiative on the part of the lovely Lady Blackburn. And I must say I'm here to congratulate you. You've done a wonderful thing, not only for this city, but for the nobility of Blackburn, and as well as the land of Mobia. This road will be built, it will be glorious, and you will be strengthening the military, not only of this city, but possibly of your hometown of Oakwell as a result. And it's surprising, the way you accomplish this without bringing an end to those centaurs. I was almost certain you would give up on your goal, but alas, you are full of surprises. Perhaps that's why Lady Blackburn loves you so much. She's taken keen interest in what you've done and what you may do in the future.
Persephone, did you hear that? She loves us.
That's good to hear. Thank you for the praise.
I appreciate the praise. I thought this road was meant for trade. I didn't realize it was going to be increasing military forces. Is there something concerning happening in Mobia right now?
There's always pieces moving in the background. Persephone, I presume. Yes, I see the elven, yes, it must be you. But you must know that Ranhold, the town that is actually being on the recipient end of this road, is a fort. Part of that trade would involve arms that may be desperately needed in these, well, changing times.
It is normal. No trade route remains just a trade route, especially in times of war. If you need to move large amounts of people, why would you trek them through the wilderness when you've already built a perfectly good road? That is to be expected.
Exactly. See, she did say one among you was quite sharp. You must be Samantha.
That I am, as I tuck away the beginnings of the lesson plans that I was drafting for Persephone into the book of giant stuff and try to be like, hey Luna, can you shove this into your extra dimensional vacuum space, please? Thanks.
No, we went through this. It doesn't fit.
Oh, do we only have to? Oh, that's right. We have to always the tie. That's right. I tie it back to my battering ram. That's what it was. Cool. I forgot.
Fucking battering
The
ram.
traveling merchant with one of those gigantic backpacks on their
Ah,
back.
darling, the
Just looks like a turtle.
sophistication. The
Yes.
small battering ram.
With
As
a
I said.
big
Lovely.
hump of loot.
Truly a spectacular look. The common folk, strapping all of their wares to their backs. It's
Height of
fascinating.
fashion.
Oh man, how nice is his tail?
It is like, it's his fur is like somewhat long, so on his face it sort of hangs down inside these little tufts, and his tail is like nice and thick and looks like it's been combed all day long.
Ooh.
Every single strand follows the same path. It almost seems seamless. There's no little tufts sticking out. It's like perfectly neat and well made. As he turns to face you and notices you looking at his tail. Interesting. Well, you must be the thimble, aren't you?
Oh no, just Clyde Arthur.
Oh, I could have sworn there was a thimble among the Valiant Seven. I was quite interested.
Oh no, not anymore.
Not anymore. Oh, no, I completely understand. Curiosity's sake,
Well, of course,
Which
we're always
thimble?
curious.
which thimble were you from?
Oh well, I mean, you know, it's well, you know,
And I slowly bring
Do I
it
notice that
in.
Clyde is quite uncomfortable?
Yeah.
What's your tail doing, Clyde?
I'm watching with keen interest.
well, it's frantically looking through Word documentations to find out actually which one he's from because he doesn't remember. So it's just like sifting through pages upon pages.
You don't want to.
You're really
Tell us
slow
where
in
you're
your
from?
response. You
Well,
must be
I
a
mean,
southern
well,
Thimble.
I'm part of the Southern Thimbles.
Really?
Well, was
Interesting.
not anymore.
You're not one of Carl's sons, are you?
I am. Yes. Wait, how do you know Carl? Why? How do you know my father?
He's a Thimble. He's a leader of the Southern Thimbles, a powerful one indeed, and quite popular down by the southwestern coast. Although it's strange, I've never... Usually the sons of Carl Allen are quite well praised for their deeds, if you would call them that. Never heard of a
Listen.
Clyde.
Some would call them deeds, other people would call them war crimes.
War crimes, yes. Terrible, terrible things. Well, I understand completely you would wish to dissociate yourself with them. Find a new start for someone else.
You know, I mean, every family's got to have at least one black cat. Sheep.
Leave the
Sheep.
term as sheep.
Ooh. I see that.
What
A
about
Southern
you?
Thimble. Oh, I have been to many places. I have many stories to tell, but I've cut them from my life. Similar to you, my friend Clyde.
Oh. You
So
know,
I simply go...
I heard that you're really fast.
Hell, I've been praised as being the fastest feet in the far north of Mobia. Is why I and the messengers... Oh, you heard a rumor.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that I do not care about anything that you're saying right now. Why are you looking for us?
Oh,
I'm
no,
here to
he
simply
works for the Blackbriars.
Lady Blackburn sent him.
For the Blackburns. Wait, do you have our money?
Yes, well, I'm also here to inform you of the situation.
Oh.
You see... Yes, I can hear your disdain. Don't worry, that is why she sent me and not a raven. Less of a cold beak face carrying a note and more of a, well, more svelte and inviting face to speak with. You see, as much as Lady Blackburn understands and trusts that what you did was successful, and that you drove the centaurs from that land, and they will no longer bother the road workers for the rest of the duration of their occupation, I must say, there is still a level of uncertainty in how long that may last. Certainly, if we believe the centaurs are gone, then they will not harm the road workers. But it would be an ill-fit decision business-wise to pay workers for a job that may not be truly completed. And so, it is my humble, more so my obligated decision to, on the behalf of the Blackburn family, state that the payment will not arrive today, or any days soon until the road work is completed. To ensure, of course, that what you did was successful, and that the centaurs do not bother the workers.
Of course, I had actually expected as much. I'm more so curious, is the bounty still open?
As far as I'm concerned, Lady Blackburn has no need of it. If someone comes claiming that they killed all the centaurs, well, the job's already done.
Good to hear, right, first?
That is disappointing, but begrudgingly understandable. Does the Blackburn Initiative have any other need for us, then?
Not unless you simply wish to stay in Broken Ridge. There's always jobs to be done, and I must say, Lady Blackburn has taken an interest in this valiant Seven. I'm starting to see it myself, I must admit, but I do not think waiting around here would find you much work. If she does have more things she wishes for you to do, more opportunities for gold to line your pocket, I'm sure she will send word to Oakwell. But to not leave you on sour notes, I will say a bit of good news. Due to hearing that the word of the bounty had reached Oakwell on time, the name of the fallen horse, that's it. The name of your fallen horse is actually now the talking point within Ingard. You might find more work beyond the Blackburn Initiative than simply jobs that Lady Blackburn gives you. You might be finding a bit more nobility, a bit more pull calling you north, if you ever find yourselves in more dire times.
Oh, that's great. Miles, though, if she sends word, could you not send a raven, like a different kind of bird, like a fox, or like a messenger?
I'm sorry, is there something wrong with ravens? They're very quick and very smart.
She doesn't like ravens.
I will take that comment into consideration with the Blackburn Initiative. I cannot guarantee results, though. It's a bit of a strange ask. But, of course, she might make an exception for her favorite group.
Oh, did you hear that? We're her favorite now.
Well, if there's any questions you have on the behalf of the Blackburn Initiative, I will be happy to answer them, but time is of the essence, and I really must get going unless there's anything else you have to ask me, as you see him sort of stepping a little bit away towards the door.
Yeah, Mr. Midnight, it's not really a question, but I think you should probably hear from me. I may have made a mistake during all this, and I just want to apologize before you hear from somebody else. When we were leaving out west, we sort of ran into a gang of fellas looking for the whole bounty thing. I didn't really think about it at the time, and sort of let him know that Lady Blackburn maybe had contacted us before the bounty sort of went out, that we sort of had the pick of it. I'm sorry if that's a problem for anything. I didn't think it was, but everybody sort of made me realize that. I hope that don't harm her or nothing.
As Gregory's telling this to Miles, Persephone's going to be watching how Miles reacts to it, trying to gauge if did he know about Blackburn coming to visit us. She's trying to get a measure of how much does Blackburn tell the people she's close to.
He's actually quite expressive. Like, he always tries to keep a good smile on his face, but you do tell with like a slight in his ears and a slight in his eyes, rather, and the twitching of his ears. He seems a bit confused when you mention the contact of Blackburn and telling them, and then sort of you see him mulling over your words a moment, and then sort of tips his head to and fro, kind of realizing what he's talking about. It's perfectly fine. I assure you, there would be no harm done to the efforts of the Blackburn Initiative for selecting individuals.
All right, thank you. I was feeling mighty good. I didn't want to bring no trouble with Miss Blackburn. I'm sorry.
You must be Gregory. You definitely have an Oakwellian accent. She has a particular interest in you, although I don't believe she's personally met you or spoken more than a few words.
I only had the pleasure once at dinner with the mayor. Other ones, they've spoken to her a couple times. No, but really, was she talking about me?
Absolutely. A man from Oakwell.
You don't remember the dinner, Gregory? She was really touchy-feely with you at the time.
I don't remember that. What? No, not me.
Gregory, we've been over this like twice.
What?
You're a handsome man. Bit rugged, but handsome.
As I said, the rustic look is quite popular here in Broken Ridge. It's something archaic about it. Just draws the eyes and it just draws the interest. At any rate, if there's any more questions, I suppose, well, any actual questions? No? Yes? Once, twice,
No,
things are ticking.
Wait, could you... Where's Javen? Damn it, he's not here.
He's sleeping
Early,
in.
he's sleeping.
I do have a simple question. Miles, are you hard to get a hold of in Broken Ridge?
Well, one must simply send a bird of some sort, a messenger, up to Ingard, is where my current living conditions are. The Blackburn Initiative has been kind enough to offer me my own home there. So simply send word towards me. I'm oftentimes the, what would you call it? The rendezvous, the in-between point between the common affairs that the Blackburn Initiative would deal with and the more complicated things. I am somewhat of their filter, so to speak. Run my claws through things and catch the problems.
I see. I will be sure to reach out to you the next time I have time and I am here. I would certainly love to share a drink with you and, well, talk trade, so to speak.
Interesting. Of course. Before I leave, if there's anything else, once, twice, following, going, fast, fine.
Alright, bye.
I do want to leave you all with something, a small token of the Blackburn's appreciation for cooperating with their desires, as he reaches within his cloak and produces these small, they look like just little brooches. They're red in color, like little leaves lined in gold, where the stem, the veins, and all these things should be. And they're about small enough to like you could just pin to a cloak or your shirt, and he counts about among you, sort of mumbles to himself, and places an extra one as he puts 6 before you on this table. It's made of real gold and a small sliver of ruby. Just a token of appreciation from the Blackburn Initiative.
Oh,
That's mighty nice of you.
well, that's great.
Well, with that, I will be off. It was a pleasure
Bye.
to meet all of you. If there was one more, I believe there was with you, but I do not see him.
He's sleeping.
Ah, got it. The older man, of course. Well, enjoy your time, however long you spend it here on Broken Ridge, and I do hope to see you again. I think we'll do great business together.
Yeah, have a good one.
As he slinks out the door, and you see him sort of step to the side, and immediately, he's just gone.
Oh, he is fast.
He's fucking majestic.
Y'all don't really think Lady Blackburn would... No, y'all pulling my tail.
Oh, good fucking Lord, Gregory, shut up.
Wait, Luna, what happened to your hair?
You just
God, it's been like this for like
noticed?
5 days.
I don't notice.
This
certain
conversation
things.
has already happened.
I like it.
Thank you, Clyde. We know you said that also 2 days ago.
I feel like I shouldn't be surprised Lady Blackburn sent her pet to speak to us, but at the same time,
Persephone,
I am a
honestly,
little
he's a sentient being. He's not a pet.
Just call it tobacco.
He's the go-between.
that's what
He's-
Magnus called him.
Well, you just called him that.
I was quoting Magnus.
Well, Magnus isn't right in the head.
Okay, listen. Majority like Lady Blackburn treat certain people as if they are lesser. That's exactly how she talked about the centaurs, and that's exactly how Magnus makes it sound like Miles is being treated.
Yeah, but we're her favourites. And look, she got us these nice little pins.
Yeah!
And she's got the hots for Gregory.
Just like a cute little gem you would put on your cat's collar.
Wait, are you calling... I see how it is, Persephone. I see how it is. So I put it on Mitty's collar.
What are these things? I reach down and pick up one of these little rubies.
They just look like little brooches.
Between my fingers, just kind of looking it over and looking it over.
Like a little pin. It looks like you'd see what most people would use to clasp a cloak around their shoulders or something, keep it fastened.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab mine and take a look at it as I do. You know, it would be nice to get work from Lady Blackburn, but I don't think she's somebody whose thumb we want to be under very much. She has too much power over here. It could be risky.
Working for people in
What?
power is how you gain power. You should
She's
play
a
your
well-respected
cards right.
individual here.
Yeah, what's the problem? Sorry, I'm lost.
Persephone simply doesn't like her.
Oh.
What? Something happened at the dinner? Oh, the dinner, I guess, when she
No,
do something at the
nothing
top.
happened. I think she's just selfish, and she has a lot of sway, not just in Broken Ridge, but she could have a lot of sway in Moby if she plays her cards right. Not only does she sit on the board of trade, but she's also head of the Blackburn Initiative, the same initiative that builds the roads for Mobia.
Right?
Yeah?
I just stare at them back and forth because it's very obvious to me. But they.
Wait, what's wrong with that? It must mean that she's a good person, or at least a wise person to be in charge of so many things.
Wise and good people aren't always the ones in charge. In fact, sometimes being in charge can turn the wise and good into foolish and bad.
But that's why we've got Gregory.
That's really.
I mean, I know people can be terrible people, but I mean, the mayor's a fine soul, and
Of course, Lord Autumnwood is great. All I'm saying is maybe we should pay attention to what kind of jobs we're getting from Broken Ridge. If a lot of them seem to be connected to Blackburn, that I don't.
But she allowed us not to kill them all.
It was cheaper for her to not have them killed.
Oh, true, but I mean, she gave us like 2 months to do it. And she still paid us the original sum.
Along with exclusivity rights, even if they
That's
were
right.
in her best interest. That's the thing that is nice about nobles, especially ones motivated by money, is if you follow the money, you can probably figure out what it is they are planning or where their interests lie, Persephone. It is not problematic that she is powerful and well-connected. That is exactly the person I want to work for.
Oh, wait, so maybe what Persephone is saying is, why would somebody that's already rich and already powerful need a road to connect over there? What is she getting out of it?
Money.
a road.
Oh, well, that's fine. Yeah.
If the Blackburn Initiative is in charge of connecting the various towns and cities of Mobia, that's just what they do. It doesn't sound problematic at all. And
Man,
it's
that's
not
sort
like
of
we
the
don't...
part of a business, right? To
Exactly.
make money.
We discuss and mull over every single job we get, except for the ones that are, go stop the undead abominations from spreading across the world, because that's obviously the right thing to do. But we mull over everything. We don't make any decision within, 6 seconds. So I don't see where the problem actually is. If you're so concerned about her, then you'll keep a sharp eye as I count the coin that she continues to pay us.
Wait, speaking of jobs, what are we going to do next? Are we going back to Oakwell?
Yeah, we have to go back to Oakwell. Jody's probably reading our letter right now.
Yeah, we need to figure out what's going on with the people that are looking for out east, and then because we head there now, we just be walking in.
Oh, at Crossways.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, are we going to go kill the witch?
If everything is
Sure,
alright with
but-
Jody, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Jody at the moment. Marjorie, I hate to say it, but could probably wait for a little bit. I don't know about Jody and people looking for.
I think Jody can handle herself. Have you seen her? She's a stout woman.
Yeah, I mean, she can handle herself. It was a bloody mess with them goblins came into town, but still, that man walking around town apparently was wrenching doors off the hinges. It didn't sound good.
Oh.
Well, someone go wake up Javen and let us get on the road then if there's nothing else.
Oh,
we
good,
can
I
do.
didn't want to go. He's angry when he's drunk. Well, or weak.
No, he's not
Okay.
actually.
No, he's happy when he's drunk. He's angry when you gotta wake him up.
Well, yeah.
That might make more sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna scurry off to go find Javen's room.
Gregory, look at this meat cleaver I got, Barga.
Hell,
Huge!
is she carving up an elephant with the damn thing?
Well, no, they said it'll never go dull. It'll always stay sharp.
Well, that.
I know. I hope she likes it.
I'm sure she will, Glad.
Oh crap, I'm gonna have to work on my stretches.
Why?
Work on you. Oh, hell.
What? Oh, Luna, you
Hey,
know
only
why.
Stephanie and Persephone leaves? Wow, Clyde! So as I go to get Javen, I'm fiddling more with this little brooch thing, my innate distrust for Blackburn just growing, and I think about how Magnus was able to figure out magic in an item. I don't think I can do it. But I start like flicking at it and I try to channel magic through and I'm just like, do you do anything? And then I remember I can just cast detect magic.
Okay. So do you detect magic?
Oh God, where is it?
So you reach deep into your brain. Where is the spell? Look for a patch of dirt. Give me some spells, nature. What does it look like when you cast detect magic?
Usually it doesn't actually look like anything on the outside, but for her vision, everything gets sort of gray. And whatever she's looking for would light up in varying colors. Those colors, they're just colors, but something about them when she looks at him clicks in her head, telling her what she needs to know.
Okay. Yep, for that moment, everything sort of pulses, and the world of magic lights up to you, and everything you're wearing, everything, even your arm, seems to sort of give this feeling of magical energy. You feel like this strange combination of evocation and transmutation running up through your veins of your very arm. Look down at your supplies, all your tools are glowing with an all assortment of divination, conjuration, and abjuration powers. And then look down at this brooch between your fingers, and nothing really glows off of it. It just seems to be a brooch. Gleams a little brighter, I guess, in your new sixth sense, but otherwise...
And I just throw it on the ground in front of Javen's door before I try to, like, collect myself and just knock. Javen! We're leaving!
Buy a carriage, then wake me up.
I don't think we're getting a carriage. I think we're going on foot.
We have the money for it, unless you guys blew it all. You want mine?
You bought a carriage?
No, I'm telling you to buy one. Because I'm sure as hell not walking.
Okay, well, you need to get up and be in the common room anyways. You missed the meeting with the important noble that Blackburn sent to us.
Right.
I begrudgingly pick up my stupid fucking brooch and I walk back to the common room.
Okay. What are you guys up to then?
Wait, did you? Wait, Samantha, did you get a new horse yet?
No, I did not.
Oh. Well, if you need to, you can ride mine back to Oakvale.
No, I feel like we should buy a carriage, carry all of our stuff in it.
Yeah, we gonna either need to get some horses or a carriage on the way back.
Wait, what would we do with a carriage?
Right in it.
Yeah, it's either that or getting horses for everybody.
Well, I still have my horse. Gregory, you got your horse.
Innkeep, is there a good place in town to get carriages and horses?
Of course, it's Broken Ridge. You can get anything here.
Okay, innkeeper, calm the fuck down.
Fine, I'll just go to the carriage dealership in the wall then. I forgot that everything is just in the wall.
So strange you guys are here for like a week, and only now you're thinking about like what you're gonna buy to leave and mounts. Strange thing for travelers to do in Broken Ridge. So yeah, go back to the wall, spend a couple hours walking to get to the marketplace from the edge of town. You would find, like, if you're just looking for horses, like, so you're specifically looking for a carriage, they sell some pretty nicely made ones. Some pretty well put together things, like somewhat comfortable seats. If you want to pay, like, it'd be about 100 gold pieces. If you want something nicer, a bit more luxurious looking, it would cost you about 180.
Do they have an armored carriage?
No, there's carriages, stuff for people carrying people.
So nobles just drive around vulnerable to crossbow bolts and shit.
I think nobles get theirs custom made.
I think nobles have guards.
That too.
Yeah, they
Go to
just,
the used car dealership, like, I need an armored limousine. Like, fuck off?
hey, if we were in Russia, they'd probably have one.
I don't think we're.
Not like an armored car around here I can buy.
Let's go to Drakova. They have armored carriages there.
Yeah, can you just like
Get a
affix
tracksuit.
a ton of fucking metal to just the carriage?
But wait, I'm allergic to iron, so let's not.
What? No.
Just
you're
get
not.
a horse then, Persephone.
Did Javen throw his money out of the door so we can go buy a carriage?
We should all
Did you,
pitch in
Javen?
to buy a carriage.
No.
No, I went back downstairs to tell everyone
Yeah.
Javen was awake, but he says buy a carriage.
Yeah, he
So
literally
Samantha-
said, "Come get in his room and get his gold." He's not getting out of. The implied thing is that he's not getting out
Yeah,
of
so
bed.
then Samantha would storm up the stairs to get the money from him then. Because he wants a carriage, he could front the money for it.
Alright.
I just got all of my really heavy stuff sent to the fallen horse.
No, this would be perfect. It gives me some place I can tie this fucking book to.
What heavy stuff did you buy?
Oh, she bought some things.
That
I
garden
bought-
stuff, right?
I'm gonna start a garden, fallen horse.
I'm disgusted. Anyways, let's go.
So I buy a high-end carriage, high-end luxury, super comfortable, can fit. Hopefully, if they have something that can fit, what do we have? Five of us and the dog.
That's typical carriage, has enough room. It's gonna still be a tight squeeze. Like they do some very large ones if you want to buy like for whole parties. Your party size is kind of in between the usual amount, so good carriage for you about 180. You want to buy one with lots of room, you'll have like basically extra seat space. It'll basically be like 250 gold.
I'm riding my horse and Matey's walking alongside of me. Don't need to put a dog in a carriage. That's just weird. Stick its head out the side and all the slobber would go everywhere.
I'm sure Mitty would probably enjoy it, actually. And then, so what would be the normal horses you get for that? You get draft horses, or like, what do you get for speed?
Usually get draft horses. Just horses not meant for being fast, just meant for being strong to pull. You could go for the going rate about 50 gold.
Okay, so I'd get, could a single horse pull it?
It could. If everyone's in it, it might be a little straining for it. Usually with a large party like this, usually takes two. Keep it going steadily. Otherwise, you need to stop and get your horse rested.
You heard it.
Pull
I'm
it.
gonna call
Are
this
we
fat.
hand-waving food?
For the most part, yeah. Assuming you have food to feed it. If you guys can eat, it could probably eat. Unless all you guys are like, I only eat steak.
We
I
will
bring
give it
steak
a
with
good
me.
berry.
I have
You get
candy.
good
I feed my
It will-
horse
It will
candy.
get good berries. Come on now,
Like,
this is the valley
Nothing but
setting.
sugar.
We feed our animals good berries.
I stick the sugar bag up onto its mouth
at
and
some
it can
point-
just eat the sugar.
At some point, I should get gout, because all I do is eat red meat and drink wine.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I'm immune to gout.
Or not.
No, it's in the noble class feature.
No,
it's
you're
fine.
not?
Yeah, it's right there in the back.
Putting gout down in your character sheet right now.
No.
So yeah, you can get horses for about 50 gold each for drafts. One would be fine, but it might, you're restraining one horse. If you get two, you don't have to worry about it, but then you're buying two horses.
Yeah, so I'll get 3 horses.
Three?
Okay. 3 draft horses.
Yeah, 3 draft horses. So you
gonna
get like
make one
a
of them.
weird triangular mountain setup to pull it.
Why don't you just get 4 then?
Fuck, just go for 6.
Fuck it, let's go for
Replace
50.
all the horses.
Let's go about 350.
If you, because like the difference between 3 and 4 is minuscule, Javen. That's why.
Yeah, but
the
it looks
cost is the same.
aesthetically pleasing.
I mean, so does a triangle. Triangles are good. Triangles are great.
Yeah,
Put a big
but
old red nose on the front.
you,
one.
you don't put.
Besides, like a trinity is the strongest form, like it's the strongest number and the strongest shape, so it just makes sense to have 3.
We buy 3 draft horses.
Yeah, buy 3 draft horses, 150 gold. We buy the nicest carriage that matches probably my aesthetics, so 250 gold. So I'll pay for the horses. So that's, and then you said you're gonna pay for one of them, Persephone. So I'll
Yeah,
deduct
I
100.
want one, and I know you.
And then I'll pay for the luxury difference from 180 to 250. So what is that?
70.
All right, so I'll pay 170 gold out of my pocket, and then Javen can eat the rest.
How much am I paying for? Or how much is Javen's gold paying for? What?
180.
Okay, so you have yourself a really large carriage, like surprisingly large. Again, more than enough room for you guys inside. 3 horses to pull it, which fortunately just enough to pull this larger carriage. And yeah.
How do you do that? Do you do /R to do that?
Oh, all right then.
Yeah. That's how you do math. 2 plus 2 is 4.
Look
Minus
at
1.
us, we acting like we got money.
I do have money, Gregory. That's the point.
Maybe it's acting like we didn't just get a fucking paycheck of a couple thousand from all the jewels that we robbed from the giant.
Ho 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 ho. Oh yeah, we did. It was a reward, though,
Plundered.
not rob. We reallocated it into the economy.
Plundered.
I'd also get while I was getting the cart, just get a bag to protect the giant tome from the elements. I'm sure it's full of magic, but I feel like water is probably still a problem, and I don't have anywhere to put it. So
Basically, you're gonna have to buy like essentially a backpack. This thing's huge.
I mean, I'm the girl.
You're
with
just carrying
backpacks.
2 backpacks on your back now.
Oh no, I'm getting like a nice protective bag for it, and I'll just strap that to the carriage.
Yep. And basically, the only bags they make that are that big are basically the same price as backpacks, about 2 gold.
Okay, so 136.
You're not double backpacking where you got one on the front and one on the back.
No.
Holding your little baby holder for your book.
All the backpacks.
Jesus.
Okay. So you get your backpack, you get your carriage, your expensive carriage with your horses, and you guys are moving out of Broken Ridge.
Yeah.
Yep,
Sound like
bye,
the
Fancy
views.
Town.
Okay.
Just like how I did with the boat, I will drive the carriage.
Okay. As you're basically taking it down from this long walkway, this bridge leading down into the mountains, down eventually through the forest again, through this well-carved path, not really dipping into the wilderness too much. Eventually, you guys find yourselves leaving the civility of Broken Ridge and once again being back on the open road. It's actually pretty nice in this morning. It's about, by the time all of you go through the city, gather your things, move the carriage back to the gates, get all your stuff, make sure there's no more shopping left to do last minute, and then leave, it's about noon on Friday, September 1st, when you begin to make what seems like, well, with your carriage, things are going to be a bit slower. The horses that you're basically carrying are not particularly quick at moving at a high speed. They're meant for just pulling, so with your horses, if you're trying to keep up with the carriage, it will take you guys about
Where did I last stash my goblins?
about 10 days to get back to Oakwell. You told your goblins to go basically where you always send them, back just south of Oakwell along a pass where there's a dip inside that looked like it led to some sort of shrine. Seems like to be the go-to place wherever you leave them.
Gotcha.
As you guys will basically be spending 10 days on the road going south. But you'll be riding in luxury. You have horses pulling you. Some of you can just sit in the back and kick back and relax, read a book, talk to each other, eat some food, sleep. Is there anything you want to do on the road particularly, or just trick on?
I'd spend more of my time just on Nero, riding around like a jackass, just getting more comfortable with actually fucking riding a horse, because he's done it before, but it's usually on draft horses, pulling fucking plows and shit, so he's just, oh god, trying to accustom himself to actual fighting on a horse.
Sure. Yep, thankfully you're coming from the north where there's lots of hills, so if you decide to go off the path since the carriage isn't moving particularly fast, you can find some nice hills to sort of challenge yourself on, balancing yourself, keeping yourself level on top of this horse. Good stuff. What about the rest of y'all? We just do whatever?
Would riding horses have been able to pull the carriage?
They can, but draft horses are made for dragging these things.
I'm gonna bond with my horse by repeatedly casting animal friendship with it.
Yeah, because I would have tried to buy
That's not how friendship
faster
works.
horses if like.
It's totally how friendship works.
Oh no. I mean, basically, when you're going on the road on a horse and you're making good pace, it's because you're riding a horse by itself, making good pace up the road. You're dragging a carriage. These horses are not going to be sprinting as fast as they can, bouncing the carriage along the road the whole way, unless you're trying to fucking break it. This is a luxury. This isn't like a wagon. It's a nice luxury vehicle. The horses are made to go at an even pace. Faster, obviously, than on foot, but you know, you're going on luxury, not speed.
We paint it red so we can go faster.
Paint some lightning
We
bolts on
did
it.
racing stripes on it.
The red ones have more
Yeah.
DACA.
How were you
I
considering
just start the
that?
wall
Get
so
more
we get
money.
there real quick.
Persephone's gonna start reading one of the books that she had bought. Like the Mobian lore and history book. You know, all this thinking about Blackburn and Powards, making her wonder exactly how far back this goes.
I don't know. You don't
Okay.
have time to do that.
Yeah.
I'd catch Gregory.
Oh
at
yeah,
some
10
point.
days.
No, I would start giving you worksheets. And start trying to
Really?
teach the beginning courses
Homework,
for a
bitch.
giant.
Okay, well, yeah, if Samantha gives me giant homework, I'll do giant homework.
Sure.
My teaching
What's that, Glad?
is very
I chat
Professor
with
McGonagall.
Gregory at some point.
That was a nice chat, Clyde. I enjoyed
I know.
that.
Good shit.
I just
Don't think you heard me.
finish out the
No chat for you, Clyde.
I know.
Beginner's Guide to Magic. I finished reading that over the course of the trip, but so I can give that to Sam.
Yeah,
Hey,
by the way.
Omen!
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to Gregory at some point. There he acknowledged
Talk to
it, so now
Gregory.
I heard it.
Ugh. God is
It's like,
learning.
no, you're not able.
God is learning, guys.
You click the button and it just says loading,
Just keeps
loading,
going.
loading. It just
Gregory.
never
You know what,
loads.
Clyde? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I want
Pull
to
them aside. Have a quick chat. What's going on?
Gregory,
Yeah.
I think I might be in trouble.
Why?
Well, 'cause that guy knows that I'm a thimble. And he knows me paw.
Is that? I mean, you've been going around telling everybody you were assembled in Oakwell. Is that a problem? I mean, I know your family ain't seem like I got the reputation in the world. You ain't wanted or anything, is you?
Well, I mean, like, but he knows who me dad is. There's a lot of thimbles. There's 4 different thimbles, and the fact that he knows me dad, well, Southern thimbles don't really let anything go.
You think your family looking for you?
Well, probably now they will be.
It didn't sound like that fella thought all that highly of your father, so to say. I don't know if they got dealing with you.
Well, if the shite eventually gets thrown out the wagon, I might have to make a run for it, or I might have to, like, you know, make some hard choices.
Look, Clyde, you know us. If you start getting in trouble, let us know. We help you out with it. It's like if one of us in trouble, you'd help us, right?
Oh, I mean, he might kill you.
You can fucking well try.
But you don't understand me family, though, Gregory. Like, they wouldn't just, you know, kill you.
Clyde, I understand. Look, what we dealing with Jody, the same business. And I ain't gonna say I haven't crossed people the same. But Oakwell, you've seen it. It's a damn fortress, and I know it's a risk every time I leave those walls, leaving them kids there, but Jody knows to watch out for them. The kids know what to do. They scrappier than most. So, look, don't worry about me. If you got hell coming down for you, let us know. And get you the hell out of it.
Well, if it gets bad, though, just, you know, make sure that Persephone's alright. She's still...
Alright, Claire.
She won't take no for an answer. You're gonna have to, like, drag her away.
I'm glad if it comes down to it, you gotta cut and run. So be it. Just know that ain't your first choice.
Alright.
Thanks,
cool.
Clyde.
Clyde, give yourself some demon inspiration.
Thank God people not keeping secrets, Clyde. Thank you for telling me this. God, I hate for something to fucking show up out of nowhere.
I've already got it.
Persephone giggles
yourself a
nervously
D100.
in the background. Yeah.
Do.
That's a good roll. Or a bad roll.
We're 95 away from getting your next boo because you started a fucking conversation.
I like that. Good shit, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. As you
The
guys
second
make it...
day.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah.
Sure, go
The
ahead.
second day, Javen wouldn't be riding in the carriage. Oh. He just wanted it because he knew he wouldn't be able to walk.
Javen just laying across the seat, just like just not moving, just having to check if he's still breathing after a full week of expensive partying.
But he just needed 1 day to recuperate because he knew that. Yeah, if we're leaving that early, Javen's pretty poop. And then by the second day, he's back in the swing of things and just walking alongside the carriage, taking in the surroundings, enjoying the feel of the road and the dirt on his.
Can't escape the evil's alcohol altogether.
At some point, I'd probably ask Javen if he wouldn't mind trying to sort of spar with me, actually.
Along the road while you're walking?
We can't just keep going all night and day and so on and so forth.
Okay, so during the camp, when you guys are resting for the night. Gotcha.
Or one of us go take a poop in the middle of the day. You know?
Yeah. We just poop in the carriage, obviously. There's the water
That's
potty.
what the rich,
Yeah,
that's what the rich do.
there you go.
Shit happens.
It's so
Like the
slow. It
noble
has a built-in. It has a built-in toilet. That's why it's so slow. It's an RV, guys. That's what we actually got. There's a TV, whole fucking poster bed.
Person in the back making bath.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Okay,
It's
so yeah.
moon rocks. That's what it's called. Moon rocks.
Moon rocks. Yeah, Javen, what's that? Yeah, he'd certainly spoil you, but it's obvious he's not trying.
Like, oh, I beat you to death. Yeah, I beat you to death.
You tap him on the side of the face, and he dies.
Go to sleep. Look, go to sleep.
Yeah,
Go to sleep.
go to sleep. No,
This is how you fight Samantha. You just push her over and start punching her in the face while she's down. Get up.
Oh, we're sparring. All right, stunning strike.
alright.
Stunning strike.
Stunning strike on the first hit, and that's how you win.
You learned something? Good.
So obviously, he beats your ass, then there's nothing. What are you supposed to gain from that? But he sort of sets up like the target thing with his hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just doing the whole punch my hand thing.
Yeah, basically, you're trying to get you to be like my boxing coach, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see. Throughout your travel, only about 3 or so days pass. Pretty uneventful. Again, sort of a bit of a vacation from the usual grind and fighting you've been sort of facing these last few months. But this time, you're no longer in the luxurious city. You're out in the wild, sort of where you guys have usually been. Just enjoying the actual night air, the quiet, no longer in the bustling city where sleep is only a luxury granted by well-insulated walls and thick windows. You guys actually have some nice peace and quiet, just the sound of animals chirping in the background. But on the 4th day of your travel, making about halfway down the road, you guys are passing through, it looks like the road cuts through a pair of large hills, sort of the last of the hills before they begin to taper off and fade as you head towards the western side of Mobia. You're sort of walking through this valley of these high cliffs rising up, maybe only about like 50 feet in height, but they're sort of jagged. They're not the smooth hills you saw up north in the Centaur's territory. They're sort of look like they've been weathered and beaten by some sort of terrible force, so that there's just sort of these jagged cuts and big boulders resting around you. And something does sort of catch your eye as you're walking. At first, so you see sort of just stuck to the side of one of these rocks, just sort of tangled in bushes. It looks to be just like an old wagon. Doesn't really seem to do much or look of any interest. Just looks like it's empty. There's just some open boxes inside, just some tarps, but nothing that really catches the eye. But then as you sort of come around this bend and this turn within the actual valley, you see another wagon that doesn't seem to be tangled. It's sort of nestled against this little curve in the path. But it looks like you see 3 people laying on the ground next to it. One of them laying on what looks to be a pool of dark and dried blood. And standing next to it, sort of dressed in thick leathers, it looks like 2 people wearing, they look like guards. Simple leather caps, duff leather armor, and like a spear held at their side, as they seem to be looking down at this body. They're about, for some of you, only about like 50 feet ahead, as this path kind of twists and turns quite harshly. And don't seem to acknowledge you, just sort of looking at this thing, sort of walking over to the body, sort of turning around to each other, their arms sort of held up above their waist like this, sort of wobbling to and fro.
Hell, howdy, y'all.
As they look over, you see one of the heads look over, you see a face peeking out from beneath the helmet, and he sort of looks back to the other guy, and looks back to you guys, and a hand just sort of waves.
Oh, you hit your elbow there, you alright?
A sort of crooked thumb rises up.
Y'all, what happened here?
Oh,
Sort of ride up, like 10 feet away from her or so, getting a look like, oh, hey.
Alright,
yeah, move up to Gregory.
I will use the dash action with the cart. With the carriage, rather.
Okay. You're dragging the carriage right behind, getting close. Let's see. Horses pulling up. Yep, Greg, as you're getting closer, you notice that you see the wagon sort of stuck to the side of this wall. You see looks like at this point, yeah, it's clear. There's some 3 dead people. You see them wearing like soft padded clothing. One looks like it's a sort of chain, but it looks like the sets of armor that have been stripped away. And you see these 2 guards looking over, sort of still tilting to and fro as you approach. And something strange sort of catches your eye, Greg, but the eye that catches yours. And Clyde, at this point, you can hear Mitty slowly but surely building a growl, his fur picking up, and he you can understand Mitty sometimes when he has these utterances, these moments where he's sort of letting out this low rumbling growl. There's a meaning behind it, and it's a meaning that you're very familiar with, one you haven't heard in quite some time.
What the hell?
Get ready, I think something's afoot.
Yeah, I look down at the blood, look over at Mitty, looking back, and then finally actually eyeing up these 2 fellas, because they haven't said anything, as I kept hollering out to them, and they're just standing.
And you see
What
as
the hell?
the man looks at you, you can actually see this sort of like this tan skin beneath and these bright little beady yellow eyes staring back. And then you hear one of them shout out, "Briac!" And then his torso hops off of his legs. And you see tiny feet sticking out from beneath this tunic, and basically a half-naked goblin sticking out from the legs. As you grab your bow, as we find ourselves
Fucking
in the
thanks.
midst of wrestling and yelling, these 2 creatures popping out from, it looks like one shared suit disguised as a guard, and all around you the bushes begin to rustle and shapes begin to take form.
Yo, we got problems!
Omen, give yourself some DM inspiration for doing the trench coat bit.
Oh yeah. As I'm gonna need some initiative rolls.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited you get a 3rd goblin. This is gonna be fun.
Kill them all! No survivors!
Nope.
Idiot! How do you not have max dexterity?
How did I got tied with a goblin?
Damn, they're quick today.
Oh, balls.
Oh. Ha! Persephone, you idiot! How do you not have max dexterity?
Shut up, David.
As one more thing, because it was mentioned,
The guy apparently was not ready.
Yeah, you were suspecting something afoot, and then a man tore himself in half in front of you.
Like, what the hell?
Let's see, one more thing.
I start looking around, expecting something to just cut this man in half, and then realize after the screech, like, oh, yep.
Alright, where's the dragon?
Sure, that's the one I got. Where and here? Okay. Alright.
Also, Gregor has to pee, that's why he's a little bit slow.
Sure, everyone take a quick pee as looks like a fight with a long forgotten but never truly gone foe comes back.
Intense combat music gets very intense.
Quick, John, do a plug.
Well, you know, sometimes you have to pee. And if you're gonna pee, why not enjoy it before the pee? With such an amazing thing called Arts and Coffee. They've got wonderful flavors like peanut butter, and cookies and cream, and strawberry shortcake, and even maple bacon. That's right, they're a great sort of group here that has some amazing artwork along with their small batch coffee. And if you enjoy coffee as much as some people need to pee right now, well, order yourself up some Arts and Coffee. Get a 10% discount with using Lion10, and you'll thank yourself, and so will your bladder. Also, if you want to watch everybody fucking die, except fucking Lannister, tune in Sunday for The Expanse. Level 20 campaign, defeating a demigod that's really not a god, because I'm a fucking god, because I'm Lannister, so fucking deal with it. And, if you want to see something really, really sad, tune in on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time to watch the funeral of Milo, everyone's favorite happy-go-lucky halfling, as Katie
watch a
falls
child's
like a
funeral?
little bitch.
Funeral feast, you know. One or the other.
One or the other. Do everyone want it back?
And if you're wondering what the Apex Alliance will be eating, it's Milo.
Yeah.
As Javen, your senses are sharpened, you realize there is danger afoot. Thanks to the warning of your friend Mitty, growling and alerting Clyde to the incoming danger, what do you do?
So do I see these goblins up here?
Oh yeah, looking up on the cliff, you can see pulling themselves out of bushes and from behind these large rocks. Goblins who have been they were basically hiding away, have pulled themselves up and started screaming, pulling out their weapons.
Is it up on both sides, or is it down on this side?
It's up. Basically, you guys are down in the valley, these are hills rising up around you.
Just... Why'd you have to go and kill someone? And Javen, as he's walking up, he takes a pretty deep breath, channeling that primal, his ancestry within him, as he dragon breath these guys. Need my 9 damage.
As you take a deep breath, step before these creatures, and out in a 15-foot cone, you release this breath of flame that expands outward and consumes these goblins. They gotta give you some dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, that's it.
Wah and wah.
Yeah.
Ooh, as how do you want to kill them?
As Javen walks up, he's observing the scene, seeing the dead person by the carriage, and quickly piecing together, shakes his head. Sure. And he lets not really the rage overcome him, but he knows that these goblins, these guys are dangerous. If he doesn't stop them, then more people might.
Yeah, as you watch these creatures pulling out their weapons, a sword and shield in each hand, but then immediately but you stop before their reach, before they can swipe at you. Fire consumes them. They go ah! Sort of boiling in their breath as they fall to the ground. These smoldering pile of basically halves of a man. And they fall dead.
That's it. No.
sort of like wipes his mouth and pulls out good old, the old trusty, and he takes a sort of refilling his, not refilling, more like replenishing his energy that he just expends. So,
Okay.
take a drink. Getting back a key point. Or not getting back a key point. Getting a key point.
Okay.
And we're ready, eyeing up these other goblins. He's down in his drink.
Okay. And as you're taking your sip, these goblins before you, finally having some time and room to actually pull out their weapons and watch their allies get burned, they continue to charge forward, screaming and waving their blades. Making it about here or so, the other one making it about here. One charging forth, sort of trying to distract you with his hands and arms, screaming and yelling. Other one swings up behind you with a scimitar in hand, trying to strike you. Ooh. But missing easily as you're still in your drunken steps, stepping out of his reach. And from atop the hills, amidst these great bushes, you see a number of heads at the commands of these screeching creatures begin to pop up one at a time. Down from the south, a number of goblins pulling out short bows, looking down at those in the valley below, and taking aim and firing. I'm gonna need a... let's see, actually no. We're gonna have an arrow shot going after the tallest people, Gregory, Clyde, and Luna. Each of you gets one shot, and then Gregory and Clyde get one more. So Greg and Clyde get 2, Luna gets 1. So here comes Greg's. Here comes Clyde's. Ooh. Here comes Luna's. So I'm assuming a 21 and a 24 hits, Clyde.
Shite!
As coming out of the bushes, not quite surprising, but too quick to really pull yourself off the horse and dodge, you take a total of 13 damage as 2 arrows stick into your side.
Fucking bastards.
And then as they realize their shots, most of them missing, some of them finding purchase, you hear them and they try to pull themselves back down into the brush. Okay. And just as you're reeling from these arrows striking from one side, from the northern side, the bushes rustle and more creatures appear as well. As they draw out their own little short bows and fire down at the tallest people again from this side. This time
all
closer.
over the damn place.
2 of them going after Luna, 2 of them going after Clyde, and 1 going after Gregory. So 2 for Luna, pew pew. 2 for Clyde, pew pew. And 1 going for Greg, pew.
I'm going to create a shield of darkness as I will use shadow armor as a reroll.
Okay. He's got to reroll. Pew! 19.
That's a hit.
As you're summoning your shadow armor, this arrow manages to pierce through, and as you're trying to move away from it, using this as sort of as a shield to hide yourself from their vision, the arrow still catches into your shoulder as you take 6 piercing damage.
And then the 14 would still hit me, so reroll that one too.
Okay. As you also take an additional 8 damage, as another one dives deep into your body, almost keeping you from probably dodging the second blow, as you take 14 damage in total.
But no, you still have to reroll that one.
Oh, okay.
And then,
Sheesh.
As these goblins...
Magic just teleports you into the arrows.
Okay. And just as before, these goblins pull themselves back into the brush. And you can hear the sounds of the brush rustling around. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. But that is all she wrote, Persephone. You see arrows flying all around, and you see above, down the path, Javen just lit 2 of these creatures on fire.
Okay, well, they're a little too high for my taste, so I'm gonna grasp onto my crystal and with my newfound friend in the wind and in the clouds, dark clouds are gonna start swirling above us, covering a generous area. That is not as generous as I thought it was, but still very generous.
Oh,
So generous.
No, that's exactly what I wanted.
okay.
And the first batch of arrows that I saw crashing down, I'm going to strike it. I'm going to have to trace this. I'm going to strike lightning here. Let me reposition this thing. I'll draw a circle around it on my little tablet so it's not just chilling.
I thought Call Lightning could reach out of the storm too, so.
Yeah, I can.
Then I'm going to strike into this bush right here.
So pick a spot. Pick a spot where you're a little. What is it, like? It's a 5-foot radius, basically. Right? A point and then 5 feet around it.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go for...
So find something with a 5-foot radius.
There we go. That's the
Okay. So let's see. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. As this bolt of lightning, after this cloud forms, this bolt of lightning comes crashing down. As you're centering it right there. Okay. As...
Damage.
Ooh. As you hear this terrible crackling as a bolt of lightning crashes down to the bush, and it sort of sparks with flame for a moment before some of the leaves start to crackle and burn, and you hear this terrible as a goblin sort of reaches up from inside, crackled and burned, but ultimately rests. Where are you? There you are. Dead.
I got some. Alright, and I got some movement. These are bushes? Can I just, like, bloomp into the bushes? I'm gonna bloomp into the bushes.
Yep. Normally they would cause you some harm in your movement, but Persephone, you have a strange affinity to plant life, and it seems like you're able to find, like, where these things would normally tangle around your body and cause some difficult terrain. You just sort of slip right through them, thanks to your little boon.
And that'll be my turn.
Okay, one more thing. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. As Luna.
This cliff right here is 15 feet tall. What about like this one over here?
15 feet tall.
I don't really know how well angles work. If I like move over here, can I like see over it? Can I like see that guy?
If you back up enough, you can see over these rising cliffs, you can see a peak of a goblin head looking over. It looks like he's readying a weapon of his own.
How tall is the carriage?
Carriage? Oh, this is actually another wagon you guys passed by. The carriage, I can just drag it onto the map if you want me to drag it onto the map if you're bringing it by.
Oh no, I meant that one.
Oh yeah, it's only about like 10 feet tall. As you're getting close to it, Luna, backing up next to it, this seemingly empty thing full of boxes and crates seems to jostle around.
It'll be fine. I climb onto it.
Alright. You climb in this box, you can see these boxes all around you, these tarps, and all of them begin to sort of swarm and move.
I'm sure it's nothing.
I'm fine.
Okay.
So since I'm like
Okay.
6 feet tall and like this is like 10 feet tall, I can see this cliff right. I'm just a fireball. Like, you see that guy? How far is he from me?
Spell sniper. I guess fireball also, you know, crazy range, you could probably get him.
Throw it right over there. Or start thing.
From downtown.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. As you pull up this, I guess it's like a black fireball, small thing that forms, launches out and explodes in the black shadowy flames. Okay, goes flying through the air and poof, spills over the cliff. Some of it licking down on top of this other carriage down here, or this other covered wagon. And this poor creature, this goblin who looks like he's readying his bow, turns and faces the fire as it consumes him. Let's give him a saving throw. Ugh. As he turns, and the moment it consumes him, how do you want to kill him?
I just want his entire like flesh to disintegrate, and he just left as a pile of bones.
He turns to face the fire.
It's like that
Just like Terminator.
dream sequence in Terminator. Yeah!
Immediately, all the bones, all the flesh gets melted off, and he falls as a blackened pile of bones, holding a bow that now falls in cinders, as he is dead. But you see the fire reaches out and consumes, looks like lighting on fire these bushes with black flames, but you don't hear any screams from within.
Huh. Oh well. Nature can burn. Persephone won't know it was. It's not like she totally didn't see like giant fireball.
Okay. Anything else you want to do?
Bonus action, I will spend a couple sorcery points to mage armor myself. And then that's it.
Alright. As Luna. These boxes around that you sort of didn't really seem to mind too much. Clearly there's something moving around inside them. They make themselves known as the boxes burst open and you see goblins pouring out, but they're packed together screaming while their eyes red and filled with bloodlust. As you're not standing next to one, you're not standing above one, you're standing within a swarm of them. And they are pulling out, looks like an assortment of sharp objects, some of them twisted blades that look like scimitars, others just simple daggers, and they are stabbing out from all directions. You see that actually around you, they begin to like force their bodies up one against the other, sort of pushing into you, keeping you from properly moving. You have to sort of force yourself against them to get out, as your movement seems to be halted. As Luna, I'm gonna need a strength saving throw. Ooh, good. As you see these goblins throwing themselves, like they're basically pouring over each other, like over a dozen in one sort of confined space, jumping and throwing themselves in a great pile atop of you, but you're managed to shove some of them off so they don't simply knock you over, as you take 3 bludgeoning damage. As you can turn around, you can hear the screaming of goblins, as you seem to be trying to crawl on top of and knock Luna over, but from within, there's gonna be 3 swings coming your way. 1, 2, and 3. As swords and knives are stabbing and cutting all around you, man, just shove them all away, keeping them from hitting your vital spots, but they are just swarming like insects.
You take 7 damage. Because the 3 is just if there's less than half of
Oh, you're right, 7 damage, you're right. Good catch.
No, fucking dirty.
You're welcome, Luna! I know you didn't want to take less damage, so, you know, I got your...
Mm-hmm. And just as you see Luna being surrounded by these creatures, the wagon with flames still clinging to the top of it begins to jostle and bolt to and fro, as spilling out from its rear end and crawling over each other in a great mass, you see another swarm of these goblins. As they just look fierce and angry, just dozens of them piling over each other like a sea of them, pouring out into a pretty large area and rushing out to, let's see, get you there, make it about here, to try and surround you, Javen. Mostly surround you.
Hail Javen!
As again, just like before, they're trying to throw themselves on top of you, hold you still. As give me a strength saving throw.
Wow. Wow.
Ooh, as they catch you by surprise, this one goblin you're getting ready to strike down, they get surrounded by others piling over him, as you take 14 bludgeoning damage and you are knocked prone. And while you're on the ground, these goblins crawling over you, you see someone trying to hold your hands down on the ground, keep you still, as knives and swords are being pulled out and stabbing down on top of you. 15, 9, and 15. Unfortunately, how do you dodge them as they're pinning you to the ground and trying to stab you?
Yeah, as they like sort of knock Javen down. Javen's actually pretty good on his feet. I guess not on his feet, but just in his liquid up state that's sort of swaying back and forth as they try to scimitar. You actually see Javen's torso sort of move around a weird pattern as he dodges to the side of the first one, he dodges to the side of the second one, but on the third one he actually kicks one in the sort of sides a chain. Yeah, he sort of like is able to move one of his legs and is able to kick one in the face and sort of start a chain reaction, able to actually redirect the attack to this goblin right here.
Okay.
So
As
tricking
that-
them into axing their own buddy.
As that does work, you kick him and you see this guy goes flying and his sword sort of flies wildly, and the goblin just got piled up on top of trying to get back on his feet, looks up just in time to sword gets stabbed into his chest and he just falls dead to the ground.
I'm fine, Tim. Just past
As you look
problem.
as you're knocked prone to the ground, because you're watching him, he's fine, as these things are crawling over him, trying to find an opening and stab him with all these knives.
He's just too good at moving that body around.
As
I'll
up
look it
upon
up.
As up upon the cliffs, after seeing that fireball wreck that bush and destroy one of their allies, these more well-armored goblins turn to face the girl surrounded by these goblins. Two of them are going to send 2 shots at you, Luna. 2 each. Right, there you are. Short bow.
Cover.
Yep, she does have cover. Only half, though, because she's knocking them off of herself. 23 still hit.
How much cover would I have? Well, you said half.
Half cover. Basically, because they're not surrounding you completely. They're like jumping up and catching you, but they're only, they're short goblins.
That's +2.
Plus 2.
All the math. See, I'll shield that. That won't miss. No, that would still hit me. Never mind.
And so it still hits you?
Yeah.
So here comes striking to your side, doing 6 damage, and 2 more come from the other side. Ooh. Arrow piercing into your side, doing 12 damage, and another arrow flying as well. But this one flying over and actually striking into one of the goblins as he crumples to the ground.
Let me give him disadvantage on that one. Stop that. Stop.
Okay. As he's got to re-roll that one. Ooh, unfortunately, as your shadow armor rises up once again, this time it protects you, as the arrow goes flying through this massive shadow and misses you completely. Okay. The rest of these guys, that guy's dead. The ones up on the higher cliff begin to pull out their bows, and now on a higher position, they can see more than just the tall folk. They see a couple of them, one of them trying to get close to a wall. This goblin rushes forward, looking down, seeing this girl below him, pulls out his bow, and fires 2 shots at Persephone.
Do you move, Luna?
No, not yet.
Nope.
As your shield rises up just in time to catch the arrow. Another shot coming. Ooh, but you're able to block that one as well. Let's see, who can you see? Not looking good. The goblin to the far right over here, looking over with a higher vantage point, sees a creature now alone, away from her allies and standing in the opening, pulls out his bow and fires twice at Samantha. Phew! A critical shot.
Yeah, Samantha's
The arrow
attention fully on Luna getting swarmed, getting ready to conjure magic to try to defend her. She just leaves herself wide open and gets struck for 6 damage.
6 damage. Another arrow comes flying as well. Ooh! Very distracted.
Yo, if you could like, stop being swarmed, that'd be great.
As 2 shots catch you in the side. Doing a total of, let's see, 6 plus 5, 11 damage. And from up atop this little height, looking down, who else is it? Well, same person, out in the open, very vulnerable, pulls out his bow and fires twice as well at Samantha. 2 and 19. Both sides. That's 8 and 3, another 11 damage. But as they do, finally firing their shots, they begin to pull back away to the trying to get behind the cliff, but there's no real room to move, no real big rocks to hide behind, as they simply try to pull themselves against the flat face and maneuver themselves away from danger. As you go back here, you go back here, you go back here, and you go back here. That's all they do. Clyde.
Right. So I'm gonna run off and try to help out my best friend as I fire at him.
Okay.
Computer.
Ooh. As you're ready to fire your bow, Clyde, you aim. There's so many goblins you can't possibly miss. and you fire, and just somehow you find that spot where a goblin should be raising his head to take the arrow, and he catches attention on something stupid. As he turns his head, the arrow flies past him, whizzing straight through the crowd.
Ought to be Clyde's turn.
Alright, as Nero, standing before a swarm of goblins.
Shit. Does it look like these goblins are fucking harrying Nero a little bit? Some of their horde turned toward.
It actually seems like they're focusing solely on Javen. They seem to be like basically acting as a collective horde, just throwing themselves on one person and stabbing out repeatedly.
I hear Javen fighting these things up. Yep, sorry, Javen! As Nero just rears up, turns, repositions himself away as he just starts charging towards this bunch over here, just right next to Mitty, as Samantha, your head, watch out! As I'm gonna leap over Samantha, just enough movement to get to the side here, as Nero's just gonna rear up and try to stomp the shit out of one of these goblins on the side of this cart.
Sure. Give me that stomp. Oh, as you bring your hooves down and crash down to a couple goblins, smacking into the cart and knocking it to and fro. As you do a considerable amount of damage, but again, you're smashing goblins. You get basically one under each hoof. But unfortunately, these things are many in number, and even though you crush a couple, one of them gets back up and starts to fight. The other one stays dead, as it only takes about half the damage. These things are a collective horde.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but I totally knocked them all prone, it's fine.
You knocked two of them prone.
Oh, yeah.
It's a funny thing, because they are considered a creature. Like, they're not... It has prone immunity, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure swarms can't be knocked prone.
Yeah.
Oh. You knocked two of them prone. There are a lot more.
That's Nero.
Alright, Mitty. You were given your order.
He's gonna wait.
Ooh. As Mitty bites and tears into this swarm. They're kind of fast moving, but you almost throw yourself right into one of them and catch him with your teeth and bite and shake and rip. As, let's see, 2 + 6? Yeah, I was gonna say, you need some extra damage on there, my friend. As, yeah, goes to your wolf. As Mitty has been trained to kill goblins, and let's say, it's been some time since he's had his favorite snack, as he bites and rips and tears, doing, ooh, good amount of damage, but again, you only managed to do this to basically one goblin. As you rip and tear him to pieces, and he knocks to the ground dead, just bleeding out from both ends. But there's still a lot more.
To shreds, you say?
To shreds, you say?
That'll be Mitty's turn.
Okay, as Samantha, battered by arrows, but God, surrounded by so many goblins.
Not quite as surrounded as Samantha's just going to take the pain and grab a hold of it and turn it into gonna conjure forth a great big old green scythe and just sweep them through the length of goblins, as I will use my bonus action to just infuse all of that pain that she's feeling into the magic, to do a wretched blast, as I will cast Eldritch Blast twice, intending to shove this mass off of Luna. Fuck these things and get off of her, as I just swing it through them twice.
Give me them strikes. Ooh, as both of those will hit. Give me that damage. Nice. As this sweeping scythe comes cutting through these goblins, you see it cuts through a number of them, and immediately as the magic touches them, this like black vein seems to spread up their body, and they retch and vomit as they fall dead. But the remaining force of the swipe actually ruptures through the rest of them, as some of them are trying to step up at Luna. The wave just sort of whoosh, knocks them all back as they get sent. How far back do you send
20
them?
feet, baby.
As they hit the wall about here, but that's about as far as they make it, as some of them are still clinging inside this wagon, others have been knocked out and are now standing on their feet.
I'm so happy. I was like, oh, that's raw, but it's also open, so it could totally not go that way. Alright, now get down from
As they
there.
seem like they're very harried.
So I'll just back up the last of my movement and kind of try to figure out where those arrows came from as I just kind of pull them out of myself.
Okay. Gregory, you made it just in time as you see the swarm get knocked away off of the cart. Greg's pouting.
That any other recourse, I'm trying to get myself off my horse as I drop to the ground. My blade starts to glow with light as I just stab it into the ground as I try to make my way towards these horde, but I know I don't have enough time to get there as they just get scattered across this rock, as instead I'm going to spread my light across the 4 people closest to me as a blessing magic will spread out as I cast it at 2nd level to Luna, myself, Samantha, and Clyde. As I just try to get to these goblins, but that's all the movement I got.
Okay. So all those who have been blessed, give yourself a little marker for bless, as the Greg's light invigorates
Greg's
you.
marker.
What would my marker be? Oh, let's...
Okay. As markers are figured out, Javen, you're now surrounded by goblins, a lot more than were before. But you see me reaching out and biting and ripping some out, trying to get them out of your reach. What do you do?
I'm good, man. Thanks for the help. And so it says in his shrunken state as he sort of does the backspin, able to... Javen in his drunk state is extremely lithe, as instead of using half his movement, he only needs to use 5 to get up. Backspinning back up to his feet. So, and as he does that, he actually kicks a couple of them, using his action to attack.
Nice.
Wah!
Ooh, that first strike comes swinging out, and there's so many goblins you can just hit all of them as you swing and strike into a couple of them, true, knocking one goblin into the other and having them spill over each other. Give me that damage.
For both, or just the first one?
The first one strikes into it, and as you swing the second one, a couple of goblins reach up and grab at your arm, and your punch gets sort of knocked off.
He's using his legs.
Oh, your legs. They catch onto your legs and weighs you down. You can't quite get enough momentum to actually knock any of them over, as they are still trying to pile on top of you.
Javen will sort of
give me a strength or an athletics check. I mean, athletics or an acrobatics check. Yeah, as you're trying to pull your way through these goblins, they are trying to surround you. Ooh, as you succeed, as, again, it seems like these goblins, when they first formed up at you, were trying to keep you surrounded, but with your strength alone, they were able to basically rip through their crowd. So you can move.
Oh. So,
Give me another athletics check.
Athletics
acrobatics check.
How this works. Okay, I thought
You're basically forcing your way through it.
Okay, never mind. And Javen wouldn't move. I thought I just had to move the check once.
Oh no, but basically you're fighting every step of the way.
Every step of the way. Nah, there's Javen in the thick of it, seeing Midi, but also seeing this one little gob. After using his bonus, his full action to attack, he'll sort of focus from within and draw upon that well of energy that he has his key. Bonus action is his breath weapon.
Aw, shit.
Yep. Taking a... And then just letting his eyes go a bit red, channeling that primal dragon energy within him as he... Breath weapons again. Oh, that's
nice.
good damage.
That's some good damage right there.
Going... Oh, probably... Yeah, shut up.
Ooh, as these goblins are still trying to surround you, keep it from moving, as your breath of fire spills out across them, the goblin down the way immediately gets consumed and falls in this shrieking pile of ash and skeleton, as he has been consumed by your key-empowered breath. And the goblins surrounding you, one by one, you hear them, ah! As the fire consumes them, as they too take a brunt of damage. Come on, kick it. But there's still many, and they're still trying to surround and stab at you.
Yeah. Whoa. That'll be Javen's turn.
Okay. This goblin's dead. Come on, come on. Come on, there we are. Awesome. As it seems like all the goblins, normal, just holding their weapons in their hand, are dead on the ground. From within the bushes, you can see more heads popping up, but this time, closer together. As more of these little heads pop up clustered together next to this bush that seems to have it be consumed in fire, although it doesn't seem like that's a safe place for them to go anymore. This is down here. You see more of these goblins pop themselves up together. As with bows in hand, they're going to be firing at the tallest folk they can see. So it seems like the only one who can really stand out now is the girl on the cart and the man on the horse. As, let's see. And move a little closer. Goblins pulling over the rocks. How far can you shoot? Huh. Your disadvantage. You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. As two... Actually, no, you gotta move closer. There we go. Yeah, more movement. Okay, there we go. As two will be shooting out at Luna. 3 will be shooting out Clyde. 1 of them will be at disadvantage. So 2 for Luna. Pew pew. Is a 19 hit?
Yes.
And the arrow catches in your side, dealing 8 damage. 3 going at Clyde, 1 of them with disadvantage.
I'm just teleporting into this bush over here. Goodbye, guys. Oh, you got disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
So it doesn't hit me.
Oh, so you still have your armor up.
Yeah. It lasts until my... Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So then let me give those other shots then. Let's see, it's 13 and 11, what was that? 6 and 19. So 6 still misses, 19.
Wait, it's 1919?
Yeah, it's 19.
Got it hit.
As you still take that 8 damage. As Clyde, you have an 8, a 19, and a nat 1. So 2 of them miss, 1 of them assuming hits.
Yep.
As you take 6 piercing damage. And these goblins. To run back here, running back to the bush. As you see them pop their heads back down. Boo, boo, boo. Oof, as these ones start to run back as well, but don't quite have enough movement to make it. As these guys down here, from this bush, don't really see much except for the Catman as they run up to go shoot at the tallest guy. As a couple of them get close to the edge, they see this little girl down here holding up her hands and conjuring a storm as, let's see, 2 shots. 1 shot will be going at Luna, 1 shot will go at Clyde, and 2 shots will be going down at Persephone. 1 at Luna, 1 at Clyde, 2 at Persephone.
Oh yeah, that first one barely gets me.
Comes past your shield a little too quick as 2 shots. There's 1 shot coming down, dealing 7 piercing damage. Then once again, they run back to the bushes. And they vanish. Because that's their turn, Persephone.
Ooh. Ah, fuck, I didn't see where they went. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's not looking good. Alright, I'm gonna send a couple fairies to Luna. So let's see. Yeah, she's not looking a kind of way, so have 3 d6s on me.
Ooh.
With 3 temp hit points.
3 hit points restored to you as these little fairies come to suture your wounds, and you feel a little bit invigorated as well as you have 3 temporary hit points.
I'm gonna use my action to contribute to the beating of the swarm and strike it down upon the swarm goblins.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I made a thing for that, so I don't have to pose walls attacks. Where'd you go?
Ooh! As you see this bolt of lightning come streaking through the air and come crashing down in the midst of the goblins, you see them try to pull themselves out of the way, but they're just not, they're so focused on trying to get back under the wagon that it crashes in the middle of them, and you see a bunch of frying goblins bounce off the ground, bah! As the lightning bolt crashes down, as they take a considerable amount of damage.
Alright,
As it seems like there's a lot less of them left.
yeah, there is a lot less of them. Crap, I'm gonna move somewhere. You know what? Safety in numbers. I'm gonna move towards friends. Where
the goblins over
Right here to your left. There's one that's breathing fire all over the place. He's a very nice friend.
Go towards that, yeah. I'll go here.
Okay. Is that your turn?
Yes.
Alright, Luna, covered in arrows, your shadow magic still protecting you. You see this swarm of goblins get knocked away from you off the wagon and then struck by a bolt of lightning, cutting their numbers in half. What do you do?
Come out of the bush. I'm gonna kill them all. I'm gonna kill them all, you know. Sorry, Samantha, you can't pick any more up. I'm gonna kill them all. I'm going to... I can't see any of them, though. That's so annoying. Can I, like, search for the goblins I keep shooting?
Sure. Give me a perception check. As you're searching through the bushes that seem to be burning and crackling with fire. Ooh, as the pain just coursing through you, Luna, you're looking up and over, looking for signs of these goblins. You see movement, but it's only from the bushes sort of falling, the branches burning away from your black flame and collapsing. Can't really see them inside the bushes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna generate this kind of small ball of fire, and I'm going to toss it up to this cliff, but it's going to look different. Instead of it just being just this black burst of energy, it's going to be a very long wall, as I will cast Wall of Fire.
Ooh!
What the fuck?
Alright, draw your line. It's like, what, 60 foot?
Yeah, we have lines on this. Alright.
I mean, you just draw a line 100 feet.
Boom.
Alright. 60 feet? Okay, 60 feet, there you go. As you just throw your hand aside, and this wall of, what does it look like, black fire just rising up out of the ground in this line?
Yeah. It actually looks, it's like black, but it also has these sparks of like green within it.
Ooh.
Like hellfire.
Maleficent fire.
This very maleficent, infernal-looking flame rising out of the bushes, quite high. You're putting it right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right inside of it.
Gotcha. As... and where's the fire pointing as the heat's reaching out?
Oh, wait for us this way.
Okay, gotcha. Give me the spell card real quick, just so I know the mechanics of it. It's been a little while since I touched a ball of fire.
So overpowered and everything else whenever you use it.
I feel like switching into spell cards would be so much easier.
Here, I got you. Nope, never mind.
Okay, 1 foot thick, so it's about 1 foot. So we gotta make it a little thinner. You gotta make it a little thinner like that. So where are you putting it?
Like that.
Awesome. To do if I say have oh, okay. Nice. As this wall of fire appears, black in color with streaks of the street infernal green, completely surrounds this creature down here as he's got to make a dex save. Ooh, as he is not prepared as the wall rises up around him and you see him scream out, sort of like the other one did, only he didn't see it coming. He looks down just enough for his face to basically melt and get consumed as he takes the full brunt of the damage and drops dead to the ground.
To the ground.
To shreds, you say?
To fiery, cindered shreds. As the fire begins to crackle and burn along its face.
And that's my turn.
Okay. As this swarm of goblins, in much smaller number, starts to pull itself back onto the cart, spilling over each other, although again, there's considerably less number. Now they look for the closest creature within their reach as they throw themselves off of the wagon and try to grab onto you, Greg. I'm gonna need a strength saving throw.
On you ugly bastards! 29.
Ooh, as you're able to take their bodies bash into yours as you take only 4 damage, as there's a lot fewer in number this time, but still they sort of crash into your body, trying to knock you off kilter. And now surrounding you with much less number, but still potent bite, they're going to swing at you 3 times. Nope.
Nice. Ah! As one of those will catch me in a second.
As a small knife comes up, stab you at the side, you're able to knock most of them away with your sword, but one comes up and catches you at the back as you take 10 piercing damage. 10 slashing damage, rather.
Thank God, man. I think I take the 7. I take the 7.
Yes.
2d6
Nope,
if it
it's-
has HP. They just roll
Yeah,
up.
he rolled 4 ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And down here, as you see, Javen, some of these creatures are actually starting to pull away from you, getting away from your fire, but they soon surround and consume Midi as well. As Midi and Javen, give me strength saving throws.
Oh.
Ooh, as Javen, still in your drunken state and reeling from your fire breath, these creatures pile up on top of you and knock you off your feet. Midi, you're able to stay strong, knocking the goblins away, but you still take some damage. As Javen, you take 13, and Midi, you take 6 bludgeoning damage. And Javen, you're knocked prone again. Javen. As using their advantage against you, 2 strikes are going to come at you, Javen, and 1's coming out at Midi. The ones coming after you, Javen, are going to be with advantage, because you are knocked prone. 20 and 14.
Nope. Nope.
Nope?
No.
For being knocked... Oh, look at you!
21 AC.
Nice.
Fuck.
As one of the swords comes stabbing down, about to get to you, but you're able to pull away at the last second, and it catches into the ground, although a number of knives follow after it, proving to be a deadly strike. And one comes after you, Midi, just normal. There's a bunch of daggers and scimitars come your way. Too quick, able to batter them away and dodge their blows. As up upon the cliffside, with their bows in hand, pulling themselves back to the edge and looking for places to fire. The remaining of these more well-armed goblins look for the more hardy of their enemies, aim their bows, and begin to fire. How tall is that wall, real quick? Boo, boo, boo. 20 foot high? 15 foot? 10 foot? Ooh, as this, you can't really see him, but you see one goblin sort of hopping, trying to look for a good place to get around this wall. But it's just high enough to where his short self can't see through the wall of fire. As he holds his bow. As, let's see, Gregory's got a bit of cover. Regardless, Gregory, 2 shots are going to come your way with an arrow.
Alright.
Pew, pew.
Ouch. Ooh, the first one will get me.
As one comes through, you actually see it pierce into a goblin who falls aside, and the arrow actually tips and scrapes against your arm as it cuts deep. Other one, as you're reeling, just immediately goes flying over your head and misses. Over here upon this cliffside, still looking around, seeing the creatures gathering up, he looks at the closest creature, the one that's still bleeding and wounded, probably the most besides the one surrounded by a horse with a little bit of cover. Gonna shoot twice at you again, Samantha. Pew pew. But neither of those will hit.
No, 16 will hit. I don't have my ass backed up yet.
Oh. Well, there you go. As one comes striking down, catching you in your shoulder, doing 3 piercing damage. And from this side, you have... You and... A good shot on you now. Actually, no, he can't see. What about you? Yeah, you can, though. As Luna, you're going to have 2 shots coming down from this cliffside up here. And Clyde, you're going to have 2 shots coming up from this cliffside over here. So first Luna, pew pew. With disadvantage, right? So that's a 17.
Well,
Yeah. And 11. Does a 17 hit?
yeah.
Okay, as it comes striking through 6 piercing damage, as you're just getting pinned with arrows. And Clyde, you're getting 2 shots your way as well. Pew pew.
Not today.
As you're too quick on your horse, able to dodge and deflect them with your own armor. And last thing you can do is pull back away from the cliff, trying to get some vantage points and get some distance between y'all. But that's basically all they can do. As you go back here, and you go back here. All right, Clyde. You watch your arrow fly through this horde, but Gregory's now surrounded by it. What do you do?
Shoot at that one.
Ooh, as you look up on the cliffside, you can see part of his body. It seems like you only get about half of him, but you have been focusing on this, Clyde. You have been keeping your focus strong. How do you want to kill this thing with your expert sniper shot?
I'm just gonna watch the arrows come. I'm just gonna shoot it quick, and the other arrow will pop right out, and I'll shoot at that one.
Which one?
That one.
Okay. Ooh, again, sort of hard to see him. He would definitely have a bit of cover, but again, a sniper shot. Still not enough, though. As it comes flying, he ducks down just enough to see the arrow go through his hair.
Well, you know what's gonna happen now?
I think I know what's gonna happen.
Middy's gonna bite.
Ooh, and Mitty, you bite harshly and rip and tear through these goblins, doing a good amount. Ooh, doing 14 damage. You bite, rip, throw into the ground, but again, there's so many, you can only bite so many at once. As you get him to... Ooh, as it seems like you're biting it, throwing to the ground, ripping them off, trying to get some off of Javen. Their numbers have been cut about in half now. It seems like there's a lot less of them. Is that your turn? Oh? You got some movement. You got a horse.
But I've got to protect Luna. That'll be my turn.
Okay, as Nero.
Same situation. It looks like they're all focusing on Greg.
It definitely seems like they're all focusing on Greg. Whenever these things are surrounding someone, they just go after whoever's in the crowd.
Gotcha. As Greg's trying to fight these fucking things off, as he just gives a little message to Nero without saying anything that he's fucking got this. These numbers are slowly getting thinned down. He's sure with just a couple swings he can get rid of them, as he will wheel back around and start to charge southwards, as he just starts charging up and down this pathway as he rams into the side of these creatures, trying to trample as he can.
Javen like braces himself, seeing the horse coming. Watch the dog.
As give me an attack roll.
Not actually ram through, because he doesn't have the movement for that, but he just stops and slams down on them.
Oh, fortunately, with your accuracy of your strikes, Mitty being quick, he's able to pull himself out of the way as your hooves come crashing down, and you smash about 2 goblins again, just them keeping them crushed to the ground, not getting up from that to strike. As you do... 5 damage. Yeah.
Nice, Nero.
Alright, Mitty, just having gotten the taste of blood, and now there's a horse helping you fight these beasts. What do you do?
Oh, he's gonna bite.
Oh, and that will connect. You bite and just keep... Mitty is just a machine of teeth and claws, ripping and tearing his way through this crowd. As one by one, he's tearing them down, goblin blood spraying all over the place. As he does... After that, good damage.
He's gonna move right there, though.
Give me an acrobatics or athletics check.
Oh, because I'm surrounded by him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's acrobatics. Ooh, maybe they can win. Oh, I'm a whisper rolls? I must have been a whisper roll. Okay, here we go. And acrobatics. Ooh, as you're too quick and nimble, as you're able to slip through their numbers and get to the edge of this group.
That'll be Matey's turn.
Okay, as Samantha, you watch Gregory throw himself into this crowd as they throw himself on top of him.
I know Timberson's got this, so I will move up here and, as a bonus action, call upon my aspect of the serpent to buff my AC. I have also learned to not delete my token. As I will summon forth my true visage, dropping my hood and all of my snakes just looking, scanning the hills as we've been peppered by arrows over and over again.
So you're dropping your disguise?
Yeah.
That's an action.
Yep. This happened like last session or the session before that.
Just a conversation about disguise self.
Yep. As do you.
Because I thought when we talked about Crown of Lashing Snakes, I just basically have those manifested almost all the time.
Yeah.
It's just the...
I'm asking, are you dropping your disguise? Because that's a different situation. That's basically using the spell's ability.
Then technically clumps of hair start looking all over the... like, because it's a difference of a flavor, I would think, considering the ability's always up. So then clumps of hair start scanning the horizon looking for the group of goblins as I will cast a blast of venom and hold on to that magic, dependent on the trigger of seeing that group of goblins come out to try to shoot arrows at us again. I've been peppered with it over and over again.
Which group of goblins?
There's a bunch of them.
I guess this group. This huge wall of fire making it hard to see because I can't see through it.
Yep, okay, so basically set your circle. As you're focusing one area, knowing you're gonna throw it. Gotcha.
Wherever it is they appear in this area, I guess.
Okay. Okay, as you're focusing on your magic, as your turn. Okie dokie. Gregory, surrounded by these goblins, stabbing at you viciously.
Take a second just to try to defend himself. His fucking arrows are flying in this mess, and these little things are crawling up on his legs to get at him. Looks over at Nero, tells him to run off, as once Nero takes a step away, grabs his sword with both hands and just starts to carve through these things, and he's swinging great weapon master as he just attacks fucking recklessly, as he stops trying to kick these things off, as he just takes one step back, trying to get them to actually jump onto him, as he's just swinging through their masses.
Okay.
Attack with advantage. Ooh. 12!
As you swing through, you actually catch a couple of them, and you start to cut deep and hard through them. But as you're getting them to jump at you, they're actually so quick and nimble, they're jumping off the corpses of one another and off of your blade. As you get through some, but then get through air, as it doesn't quite really land true.
I just swing back around, trying to catch them the other way, trying to cut them and basically bash them up against the cart off to my... No! 16?
Sure. As you swing this time, catching them, using some of the goblins stuck to your sword as almost like a battering ram, you just rip through and you strike them.
As light just peers through my sword as I'm just trying to burn them away. You ugly little bastards, get the hell off of me! As I cut into them and use 9 extra.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. As you're swinging your sword, Gregory, cutting to their bodies, you're ripping and tearing. Again, more of them are just getting stuck on your sword as you're battering through their bodies, but then you pump that light, and something peculiar happens, Greg. You never pumped this much power into one small creature before. As you cut, and you rip and tear, and as you pull the sword through, you see the light burning inside this thing before suddenly its body just sort of explodes outward in a burst of light, overwhelmed as the goblins all around you get pelted with bones and still your sword swinging through as the crowd is slain.
Oh, fucking hell. As looking around, don't really see anything else, seeing creatures that they're fighting with far on the other side. God damn it. I'll leave it to you, Javen! As I'm just gonna jump up on the cart, start running to the other side, and just try to jump and grab onto the side of this hillside, the rock, as I try to start climbing. But I don't make it very far, because I'm assuming it's climbing to get up on the cart, so that's about as far as I can go.
You got enough strength you can probably just sort of hop onto the edge and pull over, but then yeah, climbing up the side is going to be a little harsh. It's capable, but you know, climbing speed.
I'm just trying to climb up the side of this rock.
I'd say probably with your movement, you'd probably make it about 10 feet up the 15-foot scale. You're a strong boy.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. As Javen, still surrounded and knocked prone again on your back, surrounded by these goblins.
Yeah, it's Javen sitting, sort of like lying on his back, without going prone, just sort of tilt his head back, just resting it upside down as he'll close his eyes and channel, trying to ignore the goblins again, trying to reach deep within that well, knowing that without the liquor powering it this time. So spend the Q point to use his act, the breath weapon again. from the breath. Focusing from deep within, using his belly up his diaphragm. Just letting it unleash.
Alright, give me that cone real quick.
The cone. I think the horse should be fine. I'm pretty sure the horse should be fine. It's like narrow enough.
Just show me how you're angling it, basically. Okay, that'll do. As the horse is barely able to get out of the way, but you reach back and you breathe out this great flame. Give me that damage.
That's what. Okay.
Ooh.
Here another.
Ooh, as this time they're just a bit more nimble. Their numbers are thinning, but you still catch a number of them as they take damage. Oh, get back there. So many tokens. Some of them get burned away, falling to the ground. Unfortunately, some actually use those bodies as sort of a shield to stay alive, but their numbers are thinning one by one.
Javen will tear himself up, using his sort of drunken limberness to slip out of their grasp until he'll use 5 feet to burn anymore. And trudge his way through the dead goblin bodies that are trying to grasp out. I'll try to move.
Alright,
Not wanting to stay down. Athletics, acrobatics.
Athletics or acrobatics? See, acrobatics. Okay, and ooh, this time as you're trying to pull yourself away, one of them throws himself behind you and keeps you from moving as they are surrounding you.
Can I try again?
Sure. Every time you spend like 5, every time you spend like, actually no, until the start of your next turn you can't move. They're basically surrounding you, keeping you still.
Is getting up from prone counted as using move?
You can take it's basically just pulling yourself away. Getting it for prone, they didn't stop you. What are you doing, Javen?
Memento.
What are we doing, Javen?
So,
got 3 seconds. What are you doing?
So, Javen, usually keeping on the move, realizing he can't benefit from his beads of the Wayfarer, and loses an AC because he didn't move. He now has -1. He has now 19 AC.
What a shame.
Yeah. As he'll
What do you do?
As realizing that, he'll use his bonus action too. Not dash. Dodge! Wrong one. So he'll...
Do that monkey thing and dodge.
Yeah, do the monkey thing. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Realizing that, this is bad. Because he feels the beads get heavy on his body.
Mm-hmm. As those Wayfarer beads
really
heavy.
Dodge! Move! Fuck! Does that be his turn? He actually gets -1. He actually has 19.
Mm-hmm. As these creatures beginning to try to run back here, you can see Samantha popping out from the bushes again with bows in hands. Tiny creatures aiming down at basically the biggest people they can see, going after Clyde, unless someone is throwing a spell. As you on top of the bush, give me that spell.
Go, coughing!
That's not smog. Or sludge.
Don't think your DC's a 12.
Yeah, it must not be attached properly. It's 17. I'll fix it.
Okay, as they gotta make saves. Ooh, that's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3. Can they even? Technically, no. As these creatures get surrounded by this burst of strange toxic magic, they start coughing and wheezing, and then they drop dead to the ground. As they are poisoned, and they just lay on top of these bushes. One of them halfway consumed, but it was just enough to basically surround his body. These black veins running up his form, and then he drops dead to the ground. As they all fall dead. As the creature starts running back, realizes his allies just drop dead right in front of him, and immediately starts making a quick dash, climbing up the mountain, and making it about this far. As he just tries to get the hell away. Anything else? Let's see, that's all they do. As down here... Oh, they're all dead. Wait, hold on, you're not dead. Down from the bushes, these goblins stand up, pulling themselves out as they begin to move. As fire consumes them, you're not dead, you're alive. The black fire reaching out and catching onto their forms. One of them actually managing to be just outside of its reach, but realizing that basically there's hot death pouring down upon them and lighting these bushes on fire completely. He tries to follow suit of his ally, turns around, gets up the mountain, and starts to crawl as fast as he can, and tries to make it off into the distance, trying to climb up more of the hill, as he is running the fuck away. Persephone.
Okay. First things first, I'm gonna have a lightning bolt strike down upon this goblin swarm's. Javen's not looking good!
Ooh. As another bolt of lightning crackles through the sky, drops down on top of this swarm. Unfortunately, the bolt's small enough that when it crashes to the ground, it only basically targets the small select number of goblins. Ooh. As some of them, their numbers are thinning, so it's hard to get a good group of them, but you still manage to do a considerable amount of damage. As they are left, so you see a couple goblins get struck directly, hitting a few of them, but the rest of them scatter around. There's a few left, but still, they continue to try and stab out at those creatures within.
Moving a little closer, and as I do so, a fairy is going to fly off from my wrist and go directly to Javen.
Okay.
I use another bomb, and that's going to be my turn.
Alright, Javen, you get 2 hit points and 1 temporary hit point. As Luna, you watch as your fire takes its work, burning down these bushes, and you can hear the screams of goblins as they try to crawl out and then fall. One of them, in your vision, crawls up the cliff and starts to run the fuck away. Luna?
Nicholas!
Oh, that means it's my turn. I thought you were just describing things.
I just want you to know, Luna, the guy is running away.
They're fine over there. I'm going to envelop myself in this smoky cloak and use its special feature to disappear in a puff of smoke and use Dimension Door and just get all the way over here.
As you recall that space between the wall of fire, you remember what it looked like when those goblins were rushing around, and then you all watch as Luna gets surrounded by this shadowy, misty cloak, and then all that's left is this puff of smoke in her space. And Luna, when you appear, there's a sort of black fog filling the area around you. As your area is lightly obscured, the goblins turn around freaking out. Suddenly, there's a wall of fire, and then there's, through a wall of black smoke, a dark and white-haired, shadowy-looking girl, still surrounded by her shadow armor.
Can I see through it?
Yeah, it's just lightly obscured. Basically, it just looks like there's like smoke rising around you. They can see your silhouette through it, and you can see through.
Does that count towards the... Can't cast a level too high and then bonus action cast another spell?
You are casting a 4th level spell.
I will... Still I can cast a firebolt at this guy.
Okay. Ooh, and a 27 will hit. As his bolt of fire comes flying out, strikes into his body, almost teeters and falls off the cliff. Actually... Give me a d20 roll, Luna. Ooh, as he starts to hits by the firebolt, he was leaning over the edge trying to look for someone to shoot, but couldn't find anyone. Surprised, you strike him with your firebolt. He teeters over the edge, but manages to catch himself as he pulls himself back upright. Still standing.
Okay, that's my turn.
Alright. As this swarm surrounding you, Javen and Mitty, well, Mitty's pulling himself away just slightly inside. They seem to move and just surround Javen this time, sliding away from Mitty. Still within reach, but this time just trying to surround this poor man. As Javen, give me a strength saving throw.
Ah.
Wah.
As they continue to, that's alright, they continue to pile themselves on top of you as you take 8 bludgeoning damage. These bodies trying to knock you back to the ground. As you're knocked prone again. Knocked prone again. And although there's few of them and their blades aren't really as, threatening to you, they still try to stab you while you're prone. 3 shots go in with advantage. Ooh.
I guess normal.
Oh yeah. Oh, you are dodging, so 7. 11 and 13. Still dodging, even though you're knocked prone and drunk, you're able to still roll around them. There's so few in number, it's a little easier to move through their spaces. Those attacks will not hit you.
Sure.
These goblins, seeing their numbers fall so easily and the powerful magic basically assaulting them, you hear this loud call of Yaki! Yaki! Which glad you'd immediately recognize as retreat. As some of these goblins begin to turn on heel, one of them tries to climb up the cliff, trying to get up to the edge, but this large cliffside is pretty tall. One of them, wounded and nowhere else to run, a wall of fire down one side, and just an empty space behind him, just drops his bow, pulls out his sword, and comes after you, Luna. Gonna swing twice with his scimitar, although he's sort of haggard. One of his strikes will strike mostly true, the other one's gonna be sort of slow in its delivery, so one normal strike with 1 disadvantage. And disadvantage. As this thing's just swinging limply, half its body burned away by black flames. And this guy is a sole survivor, follows suit of the order, and starts to climb up as best of his ability about here-ish. They're climbing and running away. Where are you at? As Clyde, it's coming back to you after about 12 seconds or so, maybe 18 in total. Things are starting to turn for your favor, and the goblins seem to be running away.
Oh, survivors. I'm gonna use my game inspiration to shoot that one.
Ooh. And that will connect as you focus down your bow and fire. How do you want to kill him?
As he's starting to climb up, I'm gonna pierce him right in the back of the spine, and the arrow will pop out of the quiver and I'll shoot at this one.
Ooh. Give me that shot.
Advantage.
As, how do you want to kill that one?
As he's starting to run, I'm just gonna hamstring him, but the arrow's gonna go through both hamstrings and he's gonna crack his skull in the rock as he hits you.
And he's basically goes through both legs, and as he's trying to catch himself, the arrow tip actually catches into the mountainside. His body falls limp, and then as it falls limp about to hit, it swings down like a hammer against the rock face and just cracks, and you see a spill of blood going down the stone.
And Mitty bites.
Ooh, and Mitty bites indeed. Ripping and tearing. Ooh. As now you grab onto a couple goblins and tear them down to the ground, leaving them as bloody heaps. Seems like there's only a handful left, as the numbers are greatly thinning.
That'll be my turn.
Alright. And Nero, watching some of these goblins get struck by lightning, and Javen laying on the ground, but he's able to keep himself well defended, and Mitty's ripping them apart. This thing's about dead. What do you do?
And Nero still just got the order to help out on this side, and there's no other targets as it just keeps stomping forward as it's just trying to smash down on anything in front of it, trying to catch goblins off guard, see if it can connect with its hooves. All the 22.
That will connect.
Crunch. All the 10 damages.
As you smash down on a couple of goblins, smashing down another, about to get one more, but he just manages to pull all the way at the last second, as it seems like there's just one goblin left within the mass, although he's still frenzied and ready for battle.
Good deal. That's it.
As Mitty, you see one goblin left within the crowd, bleeding and wounded, but still angry and ready for a fight.
He's gonna rip
And how do you...
his fucking jugular.
As you do, biting his throat and throwing him to the ground and tearing him to pieces as he dies.
This thing is gonna go and do what Mitty does. Oh,
As Mitty protects. As Samantha, you watch the numbers be thin, this wall of fire rise up around and burn these goblins. Your poison was quite effective and dropped about 4 of them in one burst. And now you see the remainders basically trying to turn and clatter up the hills, trying to make themselves away from you. Yeah, basically it's a 15-foot sheer climb.
And he looks like he's running away.
Yeah, he looks like he's turning to run on heel too. He dropped his bow and just started turning to go climb up this big sheer cliff face behind him.
Yeah, so, like, I'm imagining he's running away, kind of in fear, retreating, and he looks back, and he just sees me, and then we kind of just lock eyes for a moment, and, I just try to impose my will. Huh?
I was saying falls in love. Pose your will.
Oh no, you have many arrow shafts to answer for. That's not a good cast. A little. Hold on, how does this work?
I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you said, I'm gonna cast Hold On. How does this work?
Oh, 30 feet, son of a bitch! God, I wish I had a fucking teleport. That'd be great. I could get all 3 of those guys. Alright, so I'll just focus my will on that guy and just cast a little hold person.
Ooh. As he is running away. As he sees you just for a moment, his mind goes soft as he seems like he's falling under a spell. Ooh, and just seems like he's starting to resist enough, but eventually his body locks up and he does not move.
Oh, okay.
Anything else?
I just died, sorry. No, I think that should be it. Seeing Gregory foaming at the mouth, sword glowing, and him charging up the wall, I try to reason into his mind that I need that one just to figure out what happened, and that is all.
As Gregory.
Do you say that? What do you mean reasonable mind?
I'm just third-person role-playing it. That's what I said for that instance.
I didn't know if you actually had telepathy or something. I was like, am I actually hearing that in my mind? Yeah, I gotcha.
As it's your turn, Greg.
I'm just gonna continue to climb up. If it's a 15 foot, I'm assuming once I get to this green part, it starts like leveling.
Just enough, yeah, until you get to this basically, it looks like there's a rock in front of you, but it's basically you're on general level ground.
So I take 10 to get here, so I got another 20 left as I'm just running upwards. Samantha saying she needs this one, as it's not moving as I just start running. But then I see, I guess maybe, I don't know if I actually see Luna or not. Oh, she's up, so I guess I do.
There's also kind of sort of wall of fire about 20 feet high above the cliffside. Basically, this thing's 10 foot above you, and this is a 20-foot wall, so it's about 10 feet higher. Kind of obscure your vision.
I see, like, this dude fighting something.
In there.
Okay, so you do drop the wall of fire?
Yeah, I think all the goblins...
So you do see a burning bush in the middle here with goblin corpses on top of it, but you do see Luna above it, fighting this guy.
Hell, then I'm just gonna leave Mr. Frozen in place there, as he doesn't seem to be doing anything, and Luna's facing off against this fucking thing, as I'm just gonna start dashing towards her as I try to get as close as I can. Hold on, Luna! I'm coming! Yes, that's me.
Okay, Javen, finally on your back, but you see this horse come in and Mitty tearing all the creatures to shreds around you.
Shreds, you say?
What do? Laying on the ground. Nope, you don't do that.
Nope, your mic's broke, Peter.
Don't do that. Whatever the fuck that was, you don't do it.
Yep. Opens a rift from time and space, apparently.
Yeah, it's my vengeance.
There you are. What are you doing, Javen?
Vengeance for not being able to move. Seeing these goblins, his vision's still sort of blurry, but he's starting to focus and notices there's sort of slight discoloration of against this green and gray scenery. He uses 5 feet to leap back on his feet, sort of tipsy sway. So I'll try to catch up to. It's 10.
15
climbing
foot.
up.
Yeah, it's gonna be twice as much. So basically, yeah, spend 30 foot to go up 15.
So 30, 40. Only move 10 more. Chris is so close.
Get that dead man.
I summon the darts with him. As I'll... Yeah, whatever. I'll just step out the way. Not letting these guys get away.
Kill the dead man.
They're all dead. I didn't put X's on them, but they're all dead. They got poisoned to death.
They're all dead.
He looks at him. Oh, hell.
Got him.
I love how drunk Javen is. It's in-depth role-playing. That's all it is, guys.
And he like sort of kicks one. Yeah. Oh, no. And just scratches his head. That'll be his turn.
Okay. All the goblins here are dead. Let's see. Tiny guy is going to be continuing to climb up, getting up over this ledge, and then crawling away just out of sight. He is gone, as that will be the goblin's turn. Persephone. Sounds like you're Greg clambering up the side. You hear the sounds of combat still going on up north. Luna fighting something.
Can I like see Luna's head or the goblin's head, or am I too close to
You can see parts of them, like you can see like a sword swinging around in this sort of shadowy form waving around in the air as Luna's still protected by her shadow armor.
Oh no, that's gone.
Oh, it's gone. Never mind. It's gone.
If I move, you know what? Persephone's gonna move over here anyways, see if she can get a better angle, because she doesn't want to strike Luna with her lightning, but she needs to see where it's gonna go down.
Back there, yeah, you can see enough. You can see just the edge of the cliffside where they seem to be close, fighting just close enough you can make out like the ground around them.
Boom. Oh wait, I gotta do the thing. There we go.
Boom. As he's distracted fighting Luna, suddenly looks up as a bolt of lightning comes crashing down. Not expecting it, the blast crash into his body, and how do you want to kill him?
Oh, I want the lightning to strike like right before him, and it's almost like the ground erupting and just the debris flying everywhere, taking him by surprise. And I did like that bit with all the goblins flying, so let's have them fly off the cliff.
As a bolt of lightning comes crashing down right in front of you, Luna, you have to kind of shield yourself as debris and rock come flying your way as a goblin comes flying out and falls off the cliff, tumbling down, a smoldering corpse.
You're welcome!
Persephone, you killed him, you murderer!
Okay. As Luna comes to you, you see this creature before you get smoldered by a lightning bolt out of nowhere, and now you look up, you see one goblin still trying to clamber up the cliff, and you see one down by Gregory, unable to move.
Which one's trying to get up the cliff?
This guy, he's about 10 feet up, that's about it.
I can't see the other guy.
He's basically gone up like another side of a cliff, basically he's climbing as fast as he can, and then he went over the edge. Basically he's really high up and he's out of sight.
How high is the cliff?
It looks like the other half is about 20 feet or so. It's almost like going to like a big steep. But it's hard to see how far it goes from beyond there, because you're pretty close to it.
I cast fly myself and go 60 feet in the air.
Okay.
No survivors, they hit me. It's not allowed.
As your magic takes form, does it still look like a pair of bat wings made of shadow?
Yeah, let's stay with back wings.
As they sprout from your back and they pull you off the ground, almost bleeding that shadowy energy like your cloak does. As you go up in the air and you see this goblin now running across this flat face, looking for a place to escape from. What do you do?
I'm going to twin cast firebolt, one at this guy, one at the guy that's trying to run away.
Did you quicken your fly?
in the. Oh, that's right. So yeah, I'm clicking that.
Okay, so yeah, you quickened your fly, and then you pull yourself up, and now you're going to double out your magic, sending one at the guy running away, and one at the guy. Who else are you shooting at?
One guy on the cliff.
Okay, give me those 2 shots. One going at little guy, one going at armored man. Ooh, as both of those will connect. Give me those damage rolls. As the goblin running away from you, try to run, their bolt comes flying. It seems like as it flies through the air, it builds up more heat as it begins to consume the wind around it, and then it strikes into the goblin, and he bursts into black flame and falls dead to the ground. Second goblin gets struck as he's climbing and takes somewhat of damage. It seems like he's protected somewhat by his armor, as he only takes 5, but begins to stumble as he catches himself, almost falling off the wall.
And that's my turn.
Okay. As the swarms are dead, Goblin continues to climb up, only makes it about to where the other Goblin was, but he still remains in sight as he tries to run, realizing you are still on level with him. And the other Goblin here is fighting, trying to move his limbs best he can, but stays still. As Clyde, Goblin Slayer.
Shoot a normal shot at him.
At which one?
The one that's surrounded.
Okay. Oh, as you shoot a normal shot, making the distance and stabbing. Are you hunter marking him too?
Oh, he's out of range. I can't hunt him. Well,
Okay,
actually,
just make-
well,
He's pretty far away. He's pretty far away enough.
I could just move a couple of feet and then I'd be in range.
Roll me a straight perception check.
Yeah, you're walking closer to a 15-foot
Yeah,
tall
as you get closer,
wall.
you can see like little spots of him moving between the brush and the rocks, but you're walking up close to a wall. You basically can't make him out the closer you get.
Hold on.
15 feet is pretty tall.
8 feet here. I'll do that. And then... Can I just climb it with my feline agility?
Sure. You dismount from your horse and catch on to the side and use your movement to scale the wall.
Okay.
As you catch onto the wall, manage to find just a flat point, you see the goblin more clearly. And just give me a shot. Mm-hmm.
I guess I can just... Hi. I'll put that on there too. Do you want another shot?
God,
Yep,
leave
see
him
you next time.
alone.
You can only do one or the other, though, for Hunter's Mark or Sever's Strike.
Oh, I wasn't doing Hunter's Mark.
Okay. As you do aim your bow and fire, but as you're trying to clamber up this thing, the rock beneath you slips ever so slightly, throwing you off kilter, and your arrow goes flying. Too far off the course.
That'll be my turn.
If you Zephyr Strike, it's an attack with advantage.
Oh, yeah. If you use it.
Part of Zephyr, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. As that will connect. And let's see, how much health did he have left? How do you want to kill him?
Well, as he's climbing up that one, I'm gonna shoot him right in the bottom of the spine. Right where it's toxic. And just watch him tumble down.
As he tumbles down and dies.
My fucking monitor just keeps dying on me for some reason. Weird.
Okay, anything else you want to do?
Oh, that'll be his turn.
Alright. As, let's see. Okay. As it seems like things begin to calm down ever so slightly, Samantha, your magic is still strong, but it's fading ever so slightly. As this thing is still fighting. Yeah. Combat seems to end. Everything else seems to be fallen and dead.
Oh, then I killed the last goblin.
sorry.
I'm sorry, what?
This one, right? He's still alive.
Okay.
I start walking over to him like, hell, I'm gonna... Oh, shit, Clyde. Samantha wanted...
So just gonna try to stab him.
He's paralyzed, so give me advantage. Yeah, and you crit on him, so...
One more D6.
As you just stab right into his body. Ripping and tearing. Let's see. He takes a heavy blow, blood pouring out of his mouth, and he just looks like he's barely alive.
Class, Samantha wanted to talk to him, see if they know what the hell they're doing.
Bet she wants to talk to him.
Know what she fucking wants.
Fine. Gotcha.
Just walk over and bop him in the head.
As I throw my bands on him.
Oh, there you go!
As he can't move, you take this small iron ball, he says this weird word, and taps him, and as this thing can't move to avoid it, you see this ball, it looks like it was made like a string or leather, but it actually makes this metallic bending sound as it expands out into all these like metal tendrils that whoosh, wrap around his body like a cocoon, and he just stays still, unable to move.
Look at that nat 20 on the roll, though, too.
What the hell is that? Oh, that's that thing you got.
That's that thing I got there, Gregory. He's not
Hell?
going anywhere for at least today.
Damn, alright. Shit. Can we just tie a rope to these bands, I guess, and lower them down?
Well, you could carry him.
I don't want to carry this fucking guy, he's gonna bite me. I'll just tie a rope to the side of him, we can just skid him down the side. Luna, you alright? Flew off there for a second.
I'm fine. What are you doing?
Gregory said I can't kill him because Samantha will be angry if I do it.
Yeah, Samantha wants to do her thing.
I don't think there should be any survivors, but whatever.
Well, I mean, she'll probably just do to this what she did to Timbermaw and Marrowtooth.
Yeah.
Oh, so let a murderer of people live.
Under technical slavery?
Yeah.
Greg, none of those sound right.
A little fucking thing can't even defend itself. I don't exactly feel right cutting it down, so I don't know. One way or another. So I just tie a rope to the side as then I pick up the cage and start walking over the cliffside. Alright, Samantha, we got him. Clyde got a little zealous and he got a little stab, but I think he's still. I just put him on the side and just slowly lower him down from the rope as he just skids and slides down the side of the.
Yeah, you watch this thing bound in these strange metal straps, like these. It looks like they're like cords of leather, but they're made of straight iron as they're wrapped around him like this great cocoon. As he slowly but surely gets lowered to the ground, the magic begins to fade as all that's keeping him bind now, unable to move but still speak, is these iron bands as he coughs up blood immediately as he gets lowered down.
It's got a feeling that
Watch your head.
run out.
Toss down the rest of the rope.
Just kind of grab him by the iron bands and just kind of try to put him on top of this cart thing or like on level with me to set him like in this square.
It's a little heavy, but you can manage it. He's not a very big guy.
I still got 10 strength. I'm average.
Oh, Luna, come here.
Do you get the rest of them, Luna? You flying around up there.
Yeah, the other ones are dead.
Alright, good. I don't want to watch Samantha do whatever the hell she's doing. I'm gonna go check these fellas over here, see if they got anything on them, I guess.
I'm gonna touch Luna on the shoulder and heal her for 10 hit points.
Thank you, Clyde.
Well, you're welcome. Are you good getting down, Luna, or do you need some help, or you want me to put a rope down?
I'm still fine. I'm good.
Okay.
So I float down.
Okay, Samantha, what are you doing?
Use my action in the facial component of my disguise. Can you speak common?
Ugh. He just coughs up more blood.
Looks like you have a really nasty wound there, and all of your allies are gone. What were you doing up here?
Yeah.
asked you a fucking question in Goblin.
So coughing up blood. Just every time he opens his mouth, there's more pouring out of his mouth.
You won't need time to get your wound healed if you get that time. Just shake your head yes or no. Can you understand me?
Just turns away from you.
Gonna insight the check and see if he can.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem to give one way or the other whether he doesn't really respond, so nothing really to insight.
Clyde, do you think this was just a random attack on the road? Just some tribe up here intercepting people traveling down south? You are the
If you
goblin
want me to-
expert.
Do you want to know like what tribe? Just let me take him behind back. I'll get him to talk.
I'd prefer it if he was still alive.
He'll probably stay alive. Don't know if I have all of his appendages.
Would you mind checking the dead ones, then?
The dead can't talk, Samantha.
The Black
Well,
Furies
they
had
can if you try
markers.
it hard enough.
What was that, Luna?
I said they can if you try hard enough.
Or maybe for you and your shadowy ways, but they don't talk to me.
Let me see. I will pry words from you if you can understand me. As I just kind of like hearing Luna kind of say what she says, kind of just jostles something in Samantha. Sometimes it just requires the right push. And she just kind of like goes forward and kind of grabs this thing underneath the jaw, not putting pressure on its throat or trying to choke it, just trying to force it to look at her. And all of her snakes just kind of look down at it as she just kind of forces her will into this thing. You will tell me what it is I want to know, because it is in your life's best interest. As I'm going to cast suggestion on it.
Okay. Post that spell card. As it forced to look into your eyes, you see it blink several times, more blood pouring out of its mouth and onto your hand as it blinks hard against you. And then its eyes sort of open up again, the pupils dilate, and then... What?
Good. So you can understand me. What tribe do you belong to?
Breaking chain.
Breaking Chain, that is a new one to me. Have you heard of them before, Clyde?
Who the fuck cares what they call themselves? They're all dirty goblins.
Where are the rest of you making camp or staying?
Can't say.
Why can't you say?
Can't say.
Do you serve hobgoblins?
Can't say.
Do I understand what he's saying, or is this through Samantha's like general humanoid talk?
Sounds like he's only speaking Goblin. It sounds like he's choking and coughing. Samantha seems to understand it. Clyde would easily understand it. But it sounds like he's choking and coughing.
Does it just seem to be from his wounds?
I mean, it seems like he got stabbed pretty harshly. He's coughing, and every time he speaks, he's coughing up blood bit by bit.
To kind of just like adjust myself, keeping my eyes on him, but my snakes kind of turn around looking for Persephone. Where is she?
Persephone is digging through goblin corpses, and she has Javen with her.
And just stuffing her face.
While they were doing that, I'm sure Javen and Persephone were doing the whole thing in the meantime.
Yeah, the first thing Persephone thought to do when everything got quiet was to look for any goblin sigils. There's some unfinished goblin business that we left a little further south, and she's looking for a very familiar mark on them.
What's the rush, child?
Right before we met you, Javen, we were dealing with these war-crazy goblins. They called themselves the Black Fury. I'm trying to see if they're a part of that tribe.
Oh, that makes more sense. They didn't seem like they were Robin type to speak.
Yep. As you're looking through Persephone, not much on these severely seared golems. A lot of them have been touched by fire and other sort of elements, so their skin is blackened, and what's left of it is, well, now mostly ash. The ones that do remain somewhat legible, the ones that looks like their bodies have only been crushed or ripped apart by teeth and battered by fists. Some of them look different. Some of them look like typical goblins, tan skin, sleeked back hair. They look like they have like chains, like all sorts, look like bits and pieces of jewelry that they sort of stuck to their body and they rattled together. Others of them look a lot different. They look malnourished. Their eyes are completely red. They almost look like they're glowing, but they're not. They're just completely bloodshot. The veins so thick that the whites are almost invisible. Their teeth are rotting and falling out of their heads. You do notice, as looking on them, though, the ones that haven't been burned, there is something sort of pressed into their chest. This symbol that you know too well. Symbol of the Black Fury, as if someone took a hot, like a hot sigil ring and just pressed it into the center of their chest. And so there's this bulging scar.
I'd help you, but I don't know what I'm like. What?
Here, pick this one up. We're going to take it back to the group.
Good thing it's charred.
And I'm going to put a hand on Javen's arm, and I'm going to cure wounds him.
Thanks. You don't really expect them to, they're pretty dangerous in large numbers. They did a real number on me.
Yeah, we hadn't seen them in a group like this before.
Yep. Shaven started hopping and skipping instead of really walking.
Samantha!
Oh, just the small girl I was looking for.
One of the corpses has the mark of the Black Fury on its chest.
Oh, so you are serving hobgoblins, then. This thing... I have some influence on its mind, but it is unable to speak clearly, Persephone. Can you fix that for me?
Yeah. How does this goblin look? Does he look like he was malnourished like the other ones?
He looks pretty healthy. Got some sturdy looking, I want to say, looks like chunks of a chain shirt with like patches of metal on his shoulders. Looks pretty strong compared to the others. He just looks like he got like a terrible stab wound directly like below where his rib cage would start, and blood's no longer pooling out of there. It all seems to be pooling out of his mouth.
Oh yeah, no, that's a nasty wound. I'm just gonna have to put my hand over and fix that right up.
So yeah, you put your hand over it, and the wound begins to heal itself as the sparkling magic gives him a bit more vitality, and the blood stops pouring from his mouth. He just seems to be coughing now.
What I found a little strange, though, is some of them looked like they hadn't eaten, like they were starving.
Good.
Are you guys starving? And I look at the goblin we're interrogating.
Turns away.
Are you all starving?
No.
And you serve the Black Furies?
Can't say.
But they're not part of the Black Fury? And I look up at Samantha to see if she can answer that for me.
With this magic, I can only compel that which is reasonable. He may be afraid of retribution or punishment, or perhaps even if he's devout, shame.
Doesn't Gregory have that thing that he talked about making people tell the truth?
I'm sure he has something to that effect. Something he was scheming with Persephone with. But this... I don't know if it compels this thing to talk. If my magic doesn't,
I can make it talk.
perhaps Gregory's wouldn't as well.
Maybe offer it kindness in exchange?
He's a fucking goblin.
Maybe. I mean, there are goblins.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean all of them are the same.
Yeah, no,
And gently put a hand on this goblin's shoulder, and I'm going to try to see into its heart.
Yeah, I feel like we've been over this with the Centaurs just a week ago, guys.
Yeah, but we
And
can.
this is the same thing with the Gloom Roots. The Gloom Roots are goblins, remember, Clyde?
Yeah, but
Gloom Root
centaurs
didn't
can see reason.
pull out an arrow. Fucking arrows in me! I throw him at Persephone's feet.
No, but they attacked you with their thorny hair when they were told to. Which means some goblins can be oppressed by other goblins. I'm not going to get into this with you.
Yep, you tap into this creature's heart, and it's sort of a strange feeling. It's kind of like it's like you're empathizing with a person, but there's these strange, kind of inhuman emotions. Most of them similar to just anger, frustration, fear, and overall, just disgust. This weird feeling like you're just festering in garbage. But it all seems to be stemming from around him as he's looking around. And as you're putting your hand on him, feeling him now, you don't really sense much good in him, just this sense of vileness, this nature of evil. And as he's looking at you can actually hear him gargling, Persephone. You guys hear, like he's trying to speak to you. And then spray of blood right in the face as he spits on you.
And Persephone just stares at him shocked, like, how dare he?
Yeah, I'm not. Stephanie, you have to realize he's a goblin. They're sort of motivated by one thing.
Even you literally weren't there. It's a really long story.
My hand shifts from his jaw
I know
down to
enough
his neck,
about these kinds of goblins.
and just kind of pulls him up from the bands a little bit. How unfortunate. And I just toss him down to Mitty.
Just light speed bites. Yep, as easily enough, Mitty, this thing, lays before you, looks up, starts to hawk its own loogie, and then teeth at the throat.
I know what you were getting at, Persephone, but sometimes you just have to. Something's beyond help.
Once he's dead, I just cast Prestidigitation on the bands, assuming the bands release it once it's dead, or I don't know if that's a thing.
Nope, its corpse is still wrapped up.
I'm not trying to lecture you, I'm not trying to be like Gregory, because I understand, but I'm sure these gloomers are good, I'm guessing, some way, somehow. These kind. They just... And he just, looks back to, the carriage with the human corpse, so I guess Clyde has the human corpse.
Oh, yeah, they're on me horse.
I just look at Javen and smile. I was like, I know. but I still need to give them the chance and extend my hand. They either accept the kindness so that we can help them, or they don't, and we do what we must.
Persephone, who gave these poor souls a chance?
Well, my most loyal goblin was a part of a tribe that kidnapped a bunch of people, but he was weak and malleable and full of fear. This one is full of malice and anger and would not bend, and thus he is useless.
Greg, what are you up to?
I went over to look at the corpse of the armored goblin, but I actually did. I gave zero shits about it. I sort of nudged him with my foot a little bit. Well, made your choice in life, I suppose. Then I look back down off the hill and I see everybody with this guy hooked up at the foot of the cart, and everybody's bickering with each other. As I just sit down on top of the cliff, dangle my legs over, as I just sitting up there, watch, think for a little bit. Dig my backpack, pull out a little bit of field ration, and start chewing on it. So I'm just watching them.
Are you going to bury those ones?
Hey?
I can help with that.
Okay. As some of you spend some time, thankfully with Persephone's magic, to mold the earth to make some general graves, I'm assuming, for the fallen travelers.
I'm gonna look for any identifying papers or anything on the people, though.
Not on the people themselves, it looks like they've been stripped clean. If you go look through the wagon, a lot of their supplies, similar to when you first encountered goblins outside of the cave many, many months ago, many of their things have just been jostled and tossed aside. It looks like food has been taken and eaten. Grains have been basically just poured out and spilled everywhere. Looks like there's a lot of filth inside this wagon. It looks like those goblins literally packed themselves inside and just sort of festered and ruined everything. You don't really see any markings or papers. You do see, like, between some of the people here, maybe some in their wagons, like maybe a handful, like 50 gold between them all. But nothing really of value or marking. It looked like they were probably just travelers of sorts. Maybe a couple of them who were armed, but their armor has been stripped and sort of divided among these strapped, armored-wearing goblins.
How do you take this thing off, Clyde?
Oh, what, the bands?
I don't know if you can take them off. Reading the way it's written, I don't know if there's an action that you can actually use to take them off. I have an idea if that is the case, but fuck.
Clyde.
I'll just say the word again.
Yes, as you go, gotcha, and then
Gotcha.
as a bonus action. Right there in the second pair.
I think I know how to read. I'm a fucking cat man.
As you see these bands of iron retract, pulling away from this thing, and form back into a small orb that rolls across the ground.
Put it in my pocket.
Clean the blood off of it. Thank you. What's left of his whatever Mitty didn't rip off of him, I just kind of heave him up, kind of reach over, and there you go. Shove him into John.
As you put him down inside, you hear that everyone around hears a loud as these teeth appear out of the bag, chomp down, and you hear
Oh my gosh, what is that?
Something I got from Magnus, actually.
Oh,
So
fuck.
kind to give it to
We went through an entire island with things with sharp teeth, and all they wanted to do was eat. And you thought the best thing to get was a bag that eats things.
His name is Sir Vorington.
What's wrong with getting a bag that eats things?
It's actually Sir Chomps, thank you.
Oh,
It was a gift, more or less.
He gave you a gift?
Wait, how big of something can it eat?
More or less about person-sized.
Wait, could it eat Gregory?
Gregory's a big guy, but
I
it
know.
could work its way through him, probably.
Persephone scares away when you say it can eat something person-sized, and she's a smallish person.
I just shoved a goblin into it. And I just flip it back inside out once it's, it's not chewing or anything weird.
No, it just seems to swallow the whole thing, let this loud chomping noise, and then as you turn it inside out, you look this ring of teeth that your fingers are basically carefully avoiding as it begins to open up its maw, and then when you turn it inside out, teeth are gone. It's like a bag.
Yeah, yeah. Javen just has like this scrunched up, weird facing first Samantha eating the heart of a fallen enemy, and now she has
Face.
that eats things. Yeah, it's sort of has this weird looking scrunched up look because he just sort of edges away.
But like, what's it worth?
It's actually worth a fair amount. I was hesitant to take it, but he offered it in exchange for that old armor I had. As you can see, I have a whole new set from him as well. Very useful.
Well, no, I mean, like, what is it other than just eat stuff? Well, what's the point of it just eating stuff?
Well, the stuff it eats never comes back.
When did you get that bag again?
I scoot further away from Samantha, and I keep helping with these graves.
Like 3 days ago, more or less. 3-4 days ago. Actually, we've been on the road for a while, so... In Broken Ridge, 3rd day.
Oh.
So, anyways, are you guys done yet?
Almost. Gotta see the last rites. So just pray over the graves.
Did you haul the bodies over there?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're burying them.
I'm over here drawing bodies.
I see that now.
Oh, God. We'll just pick the bodies up and move them in front of Clyde.
Yeah, I put him
Teamwork.
on a horse and moved him
I
over.
realized fucking Clyde came over here and strong armed him over there.
As I see the last rites, and then I'll put my hand on Persephone's shoulder.
I get to Redcon, I'll be fucking helping dig graves, but I ain't saying.
Persephone.
Yeah, you do watch a bag eat a goblin.
I do see that, and I just fucking shake my head. The usual.
Oh, you.
The bag of devouring is a thing, guys. Leave me alone.
That's fine.
Yeah, but you have the bag of devouring.
Fucking
Yeah,
monitor.
context.
Persephone. It's not your job to save every goblin or every creature. Just like it's not our job to save every wandering traveller. Sometimes you just can't save something. But in the end, you can show it respect in its death. These creatures murder these poor folks. They probably had family, brothers, mothers, fathers, sisters. I mean, fuck, maybe even children. We can't go policing the world to protect and save all the wayward souls. I know you mean well. That's just an unfortunate fact of life, as Gregory disappears under rocks.
Wanted to go sit on a rock, but I just phased through.
You clipped into the rocks, Greg.
The Gregory just slithers onto the rock.
I know so much that you want forgiveness, but you just can't put that on other things as well. So just walk away from the graves.
like go over to Samantha and just lean up against the cart, and I just ask her what it exactly she could learn from the goblin when he was talking.
Oh, just that he's a member of some, I believe, Broken Chain tribe? He wouldn't give me a name. I won't confirm if he was working with hobgoblins or not, but you said some of the other ones had, the Black Fury mark on them. So I guess they are still a problem.
Yeah, it looked like as if they took hot iron with the symbol, burned it, and then just pressed it against its chest. It was hard to tell. Javen had burned a bunch of them, but broken chains?
Broken Chain is what I recall. Is that right, God?
Sounded like breaking chain.
Oh, Breaking Chain. Breaking Chain. That's weird. Breaking
The
Chain.
chain is killing people. They are not freeing people.
Persephone takes out her nice new journal and scribbles that name in.
Yeah. Give me a hand. And I'm gonna search the cart.
Sure. So I hoist her into the cart.
Similar to what you saw before, this is what Clyde saw. A lot of the supplies in here looked like it was just some general trade, stuff that people would take with them if they're making a long trip up north. Although anything of value has basically been torn apart and eaten. Looks like goblins piled themselves into the boxes and even into some of the sacks, as there's just refuse and waste. Just a lot of like it looks like blood and a lot of shit, a lot of goblin shit piled up in this thing. Like, nothing really of value. Looks like they've sort of come and ruined it like a play of rats.
Ugh. Alright. I'll go bring the carriage around. Thank you again for your help.
Okay. You guys bring the carriage around, the bodies are buried. Greg, you're hooking up Nero to the old broken down wagon?
Yep, if it still seems somewhat roadworthy.
Yeah, it's a little rickety, but you could probably, if Nero could pull it, especially now most of the stuff has been torn apart and ripped inside, it's not a lot of weight for one horse to carry, especially a war horse.
Good.
Okay. You guys gather your things, reflect on the moments in the fight you just had, and continue your way south along the path as about 7 more days go on as you're still carrying around your cart, some of you licking your wounds, able to rest inside without actually too much trouble. You guys travel for another 7 days along the road until finally, reaching over the edge of a hill down this long road, you see a wooden wall, the tips of buildings poking out from behind. And you guys, on, let's see, on September 11th, in the mid-afternoon, you guys find yourselves returning to a familiar place, sun high, people bustling around, life surrounding you. You're back home in Oakwell. As that is where we will end tonight's session.
Oh yeah.
Bravo.
That is it,
Fucking
folks.
goblins.
I certainly hope you enjoyed a little bit of roleplay, a little bit of combat, a little bit of everything, as we just return now to Oakwell, and we get to see what the situation is here at home. Everything seems okay, but is it? So, in order to find out the answer to those questions, and whether or not Gregory's wonderful little siblings, who are basically his children, like their gifts or not, that's a very important component of this game. You have to tune in next Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, or Thursday after next.
You taking a break, God?
Elman's taking a break.
Yay! Good for you.
No.
So you gotta tune in Thursday after next on May the 16th and find out the answers to those questions and to what it is we'll get up to next. Now, will we drown in decision paralysis as the Black Furies appear to be re-emerging as a potent threat? Or will we finally go just kill the switch and let Marjorie see the world for once? Or will we head off to
Help Jody.
Crossway? Thank you. God, to help Jody and just destroy an entire crime syndicate in, like, I don't know, 5 sessions if we don't get distracted on the way there. Who knows? Tune in next Thursday to find out at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. But there is more D&D, as there always will be on Lionhead Gaming. This Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, the Outriders and all of the forces they could muster go to war in their first confrontation in the War of... what did I call it? The War of Light and Fire? I don't know. It'll be remembered some which way. Probably the way that the Outriders persevered against all odds and defeated a god and saved the world! Or...
I think it's called Age of Ultron.
They've got a great battle plan.
Age of Kossuth.
Cavalry is just going to charge on out there. The first attack.
Yep.
The artillery is going to fire once because that's all the ammo they have.
Yep.
And yeah, they put all their fortifications behind.
Oh, yeah, and the archers won't even get onto the wall until the bad guys are at the walls. They won't even do any. It's awful. It's awful. It's okay. I've seen Lord of the Rings 29 times. The defenses are going to be great. It's going to be great. Watch us do our own little, Battle of Pelennor Fields and hold the line against Kossuth forces, and then hopefully be able to push forward and defeat him and rip divinity away from him. This and more is all a part of the Expanse in-game, as it will continue to be called going forward in this final stage of the game. Now that is something near its end. Now, there is still something on Tuesdays that is getting its legs, suffering from its first true character death. Kingdoms of the South. Well, be sure to wear black this Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, as we lay the valiant, quick-footed, strong-hearted, and oh so brave Milo to rest. And perhaps, maybe even, find out who will be ever so wonderfully and so conveniently joining the Apex Alliance going forward. Or maybe Owen will leave this game too and we'll just cry. Who knows? We'll just have to really feel the death because he just abandons us. So, it'll be fine. No matter what, we can all be sad together. So be sure to tune in this Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern for that. I want to thank you all so much for watching. We're going to go find somebody wonderful to host on Twitch. And, as always, I want to give a big shout out to Arsan Coffee for sponsoring Lionhead Gaming. You can check them out at arsancoffee.com and with their wonderful flavors. They even have a really cool trial pack where you can get a mixture of different flavors sent to you and try them all out. You can use promo code LION10 to get yourself a sweet discount on that order and all future orders, by the way. So it's not just a one-time use thing. So you can use it again and help support the channel. Maybe we can buy Brendan a new monitor because this monitor is exploding or something. Who knows?
I don't know what's going on. Randomly going black for like 2 seconds at a time.
So thank you all again so much for watching. And as always, may your dice roll 20s and you always make your saves.
Later, y'all.
not a drill. Repeat, action stations, action stations. This is not a drill.
Okay, one from the south.
One's repelled on south window. In.